Welcome back. Oh no, that's okay. We'll start the show when you're ready. On that lovely note, hello all. Welcome back to the monthly movie marathon, the show where we marathon movie monthlies because in a monthly format we watch movies monthly to marathon them in a monthly format.
Wow.
I do it better every time, Pete.
Yeah, well, yeah. It feels like we haven't done it in a really long time, and maybe that's why that was shit.
The podcast as well.
Yeah.
Welcome to a new location on the podcast. Here we are on the couch. And the reason we've come back to the couch for this episode of the monthly movie marathon, which features myself, Nick Labarro, film critic for Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not the Rotten Tomatoes
You're
man.
not.
I'm the Nova Stream Network man. But you know who is the Rotten Tomatoes man? Rotten Tomatoes certified critic man,
This
Mr.
guy.
Peter Gray from the AU Review. Pete, how are you?
Very well, thank you. I've got
Giggling,
we got a giggling audience.
It
Feel very like exposed.
You feel exposed.
Yeah,
well,
but
because
that's okay.
we're in a new location today. We're on the couch because this is the couch where magic has happened at least twice in the life of this monthly movie marathon in this podcast. Because twice on this couch, we have spoken about the
We've
after
done it on the
movies.
couch every time.
We've done it on the
Really?
couch.
No, we haven't.
We've done
We've
it
done the couch once.
We did it on the couch once. We did it
Yeah.
in the study once too. That is very true. But this couch was the first time we did
Okay.
it.
Yes.
And that's why it's special, because you always remember your first time, right?
You do.
It's because we were in the other apartment. That's why I'm also.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you're probably all wondering,
I'm
especially
sure they love this. They'd be
if
like,
you're
"Can you guys just
listening,
talk
you
about the
probably
movie
have
already?"
no fucking idea what's going
Yeah,
on.
Context.
Which
We're
is
on-
why you should watch on YouTube. So thank you for watching if you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yes, Pete, do you want to explain the context of why we're on the couch and why we have two giggling gals over here,
Sure.
podcasting
It's-
professionals on
yeah.
our right?
We're on the couch with fucking Tits McGee's over here, because we want to talk about arguably the most important series to our careers.
I mean, literally the reason we probably still have a podcast at this point in time.
And we knew that we couldn't talk about After without these two lovely lasses.
You've heard their voices.
Hi, everyone.
You've heard their voices.
everyone.
You've seen Georgia before. Georgia Malt in the white tee is also co-host of The Book Was Better, another podcast found on this channel. And in the black tee is
It's
Rhiannon
actually
Newberry.
it's a singlet.
Black singlet.
Tank singlet.
In the black tank singlet is Rhiannon Newberry, who you know her voice from the previous two episodes. I know her from the woman who sleeps next to me every night. But we leave room for Jesus. Don't you worry about that. But you both have made history on this podcast because for the last 2 years running around this exact same time, as around that September, October time, we have spoken about the After series, the quintessential young adult romance gaslighting extraordinaire novel series.
Yeah.
In which on the first podcast we ever did, we spoke about the first two After movies. It became the most
what a
listened to
time.
episode in monthly movie marathon history. Then we did the third film for the second episode, which became then the second most listened to episode in monthly movie marathon
You're like-
podcast
And
history.
also one of the longest, I believe, even though
The first one was.
You talked about 9 of the Fast and the Furious
That is-
movies
yeah,
in
there's a
less
lot.
time.
We did like what 8? We did 8 Fast and 9 because we spoke about Hobbs
With
and
Hobbs and Shaw as well.
So we did 9 Fast and Furious movies, and yet somehow when we spoke about 2 After films, it eclipsed all
I
of
think
that.
the episode clocks in at about 2 hours 48
But,
or something. Yeah,
But from what I
That first
understand, people love it.
people loved it.
People are like, hey,
You're welcome.
there's a new After movie coming out. I know exactly where I want to go. They
To
want to
the
go to this couch.
This couch, they want to come on this couch.
There's not a lot of room left, but
No.
virtually.
but my God, is it comfy?
It's a comfy little couch, and it's a comfy couch that's housed us for the last hour and a half as we did our marathon watching of After Ever Happy, which is the film we're talking about today, the fourth film in the After franchise. And the reason we're talking about After Ever Happy is because the fifth and unfortunately rumored final film, which we have many grievances about based on the ending of the film we're going to talk about today, After Everything is coming to Amazon Prime in Australia on October 6th. So you're hearing this the week before it comes out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nick and Pete are the movie men of Australia. They probably had incredible access to watch After Everything probably 6 months ago. We haven't. Unfortunately, we haven't seen After Everything yet.
Yeah, we were a bit jibbed, actually.
Yeah.
We kind of were under the impression we were watching it.
No, that is true. This morning, they definitely thought they were coming.
Oh,
over
is
to
that
watch
what they-
After
oh.
Everything.
Well, I was
Yeah.
like, I
I
can't
had-
wait to see it.
you know
I
what?
wonder
I
what
had-
this movie has in store.
I had nothing to do with that. So that's purely.
I don't think Nick did either. I think we just made it up because we wanted it to be true.
Yeah. Our own
that's
truth.
fair. But
Like Harden.
but at least we got to watch After Ever Happy together, the way
together.
that we want to watch it, and also my first time watching.
That was
it.
Pete's first time watching it.
and
so.
I waited a year
You did
because I
yeah.
wanted to watch it with all of you.
And you know, and we
Thank you.
and we
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
you
very
for
welcome.
it. We appreciate you for it. But
Yeah.
we're fans of talking about this franchise. I'm not going to go on a huge limb and say we're big fans of the franchise, but we enjoy the community spirit that it brings to us. And we're thankful for you all and being fans of the podcast and when we do talk about After. So before we really crack into it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere you find podcasts.
Amazon
please-
podcast.
Yeah, Amazon
Really?
Podcasts. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we're like 2-3 listeners on there. It's just me at night going, hey, Alexa, play the monthly movie marathon. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening to our last episode, which we spoke about. What was our September episode?
Nun.
The Nun.
The
That's
Nun,
all right.
Sound of Music, and Sister Act.
Sister Acts. And we just decided
Nun's the theme.
Nuns was the theme. But the
I haven't listened to that one yet.
which ones have you listened to?
I've actually listened to a couple,
Yeah.
not the
Ask
fast.
Rhiannon how many
Her
she's
name's
listened
not Rhiannon.
You
How
should
many of you listened to
I
it?
reckon you'd like the Nun one.
You would.
Because it's Sound of Music and Sister Act. Those are great
Okay.
movies.
But we also played a game during that episode of where would we put Valak, the demon nun from The
Into
Conjuring,
those other
into
movies.
those films. And a lot of it had to do with like murdering children and
Yeah.
nuns, which is very on brand for The Conjuring. Not so on brand for After, but the violence that was displayed in this film, we could be in for stuff in the fifth film. I'm not going to lie. Harden's trajectory scares me
Is
a
it
little
wrong for
bit.
me to say, I know one kid I would have killed in the After series?
Oh,
Who
aw,
would that be?
bless him.
Harden when he's younger.
Oh, well, funny that.
Would have.
We see
Would have
Harden.
stopped it all from happening.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the load your mother should have swallowed, ain't ya?
And that's the first warning for anyone who's just finding
Oh,
this
yeah.
podcast and
Sorry.
being like, wow, look at these angelic,
Look at these wholesome. Look at this wholesome
Anyway.
quartet.
look at this angelic little looking group, look so wholesome. If you aren't aware of the After movies or how we talk about them, we get a little PG. I think phrases in the past have included moist, genital clapping. We've definitely described graphically how to safely put on a condom, which Harden doesn't do in the previous
We
film.
do awesome/awful British accents.
We do, which will pop up a lot in this episode. So that's probably the most offensive thing we do, actually, is making fun of
Yeah.
the British.
Yeah.
So apologies to our British audiences, but thank you for listening. But let's break.
I was just about to say sorry in an awful British accent to be like,
Sorry?
It just really drives me home.
Sorry, Governor.
He did it for me.
You're welcome. So guys, we're 4 deep into this franchise now. After we
Knuckle
fell, after we collided. Now we're going to talk about After Ever Happy, which if you reverse says Happy Ever After. What a play on words.
That's so clever.
Anna Todd,
It really does.
esteemed author Anna Todd.
I've never thought of that.
Have you actually never thought of that?
No, not until now.
Because
No.
I always because
No, bullshit. No, you're fucking...
after
You actually had me going there for a
After
second.
Ever Happy is the worst title. It's
It's
so
awful.
it's so
Doesn't
it doesn't
roll
roll
off
off
the
the tongue. No.
It's dreadful. But
Frankly.
frankly, I think it's terrible. Sorry again to our British listeners.
Oh, that is terrible. TRBL. Terrible.
But we're 4 deep now with the much anticipated kind of fifth film on the way. But I remember, and I'll let you girls speak for yourselves as well. But when we walked out of this film, when we saw it last year,
That's lovely.
we're a very progressive podcast.
It's very
super progressive.
very-
So nervous.
Yeah.
We're so
very,
progressive.
I
very-
have a voice.
It's very unhardened of him to be like,
don't-
you know what, we'll let women speak.
I don't know if you know this. We're progressive. Pete's also gay. I don't know if you know that. That's how progressive we are in this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
We
I've kept it hidden really well.
We're both white.
had no idea.
But at
I
least
Had no
he's gay.
idea. Yeah.
Are you just finding out right now? I think there's some
I-
episodes
yeah.
of the show you can go back and listen to.
Wait,
That might be
what?
some signs.
Yeah, there might be some signs.
Didn't you say you were going to rearrange the guts of Jason Momoa in one of the episodes?
No, I think I said. To be fair, I'm pretty sure I said I would have wanted him to rearrange.
Sorry.
mine.
Okay, right.
Like,
That seems
let's
fair.
that seems
Yeah.
that
That's
seems
way
more.
less
That's
gay.
so much
That's
more on
way
brand.
less gay.
Yeah, that's borderline.
Yeah.
But
I think I did say that I'd want the dad and After Ever Happy to wreck me. So
you did say that actually.
You
Yeah.
definitely did.
yeah.
But-
you're like, yeah,
We walked out of After Ever Happy last year.
I didn't.
No, but you were somewhere cool.
I was somewhat.
You were somewhere cool.
Yeah.
And we all walked out and kind of collectively decided, I believe, that this was our second favorite movie in the franchise.
Yeah, the trajectory is sort of interesting. So one, we loved it, and I'm using air quotes because
Totally.
what is love? It's
Baby, don't hurt me.
Yeah.
But then the second one
more.
just went absolutely ballistic, and we were obsessed
Like,
with that
That's our
one.
favorite
Because-
collectively, right?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
we did you guys see the second one the same night that we did in a different session, or did you go like after?
We did chicks.
No, we didn't see it with you. I'm not.
No,
I
but
remember
did
you
you
didn't
see
see
it
it
on
with
the
us, but
same
did you see it
night?
on the same night?
The
Like, did you go to
preview
the
script,
did
like,
you
there
go
was
to
a
the
night
Chicks of the
before
Flicks,
screening.
or did you go to?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Because
I feel like we did.
Because I
Maybe
remember,
we did.
I remember Nick and I seeing it, and we would have just been like, Georgia and Rhea have got it. Like,
Yeah, we
like
knew
there's-
you wanted to see
yeah,
it.
because it was it was weird for
Us.
two
Men.
grown men
Two grown boys.
going voluntarily into After We Collided. Is that the second
That's
one?
the second one. Yeah.
And seeing it in a cinema with predominantly women. I'm about to sneeze.
That's okay. You can sneeze if you want. But we'll also point out the fact that we were the only two men together. If there was another guy in the crowd, it was
He
with
was
a
with
girl.
his girlfriend.
It was with a girlfriend.
But everybody in that cinema was kind of on board with how
we were.
We
I would
were
say
very
we were the
vocal.
most on board.
Yeah.
We were loving it. We got to the point, and I think we said this on the previous episodes, that we were once Harden said fuck
We
twice,
started counting.
we started counting because like, oh, this is way better than the first movie. Then they started fucking.
Yeah.
Then there's drugs. Then there's a bit of violence, and we're like, this movie has everything.
It just really takes the absurdity of the plots and the situations that the characters get themselves in is
Yeah.
just absolutely ridiculous.
I
and
love it.
It was hilarious. Then the third one lost a bit of the magic.
yeah.
It's very
Don't
true.
ask me to put my finger on it, but it just didn't have that pizzazz.
yeah.
Just can't remember it either that well.
It was a bit bland.
Yeah.
Bit
Yeah.
bland.
Like
And I
I,
think
would
be-
skip it
And
voluntarily.
I think because the second one is you've stepped up so much, you assume surely the third will
Keep going.
do that. And
Yeah.
it didn't. But this
It's
one,
And
It
then
ebbs and
with
flows.
4, we're back, baby.
we're back.
We're back big time.
What
with
an,
number
what
4.
an I wish people could have watched us
Watch it,
watch
right?
that movie because I was
There's just a lot of copyright
I was
things we have
going
to worry about. with
I
that.
was going through it.
Yeah, you were having a very, I think, a very appropriately visceral reaction to a lot of things. I think it also rekindled some movie theater PTSD for Georgia and Rhiannon, who were also having reactions and being like, "That's right, I said that in the cinema." Like we were shouting at the screen and shit. So this movie very much so has an emotional pull on a lot of us. Probably
Well, he's
all
such
of
a
us.
fuckhead, isn't he?
Well, this movie.
And by he we mean
Triples.
Harden, played by Hero
Fiennes
Tiffin,
The
who
man. It was also
Rafe Fiennes' nephew.
nephew, and also executive producer on this series now. That boy is
Ex-pro.
raking in tens of thousands of dollars because that's what I think.
You know what? The thing is, he probably is because we keep forgetting that,
Yeah.
not every actor is paid millions of dollars.
no.
Like the strike has really
Funnily that,
shown
you should
us-
probably pay your actors. Weird that. Who would have
The
thought?
strike has really shown how much people don't make as an actor.
Totally.
So yeah, that's me getting quite serious for a moment.
But before we really get into the nuts and bolts of After Ever Happy, We do the Rotten Tomatoes scores now. After 18% critics.
Okay.
I remember we were.
I'm the reigning champ of this.
and I
I'm a
remember-
bit nervous.
I remember we had like a good. You were like, "Wait, what does 18% mean?" And then you were like, "I get what percentage means."
Yeah, that's right. After we fell, 12%.
Oh, is that the second one?
I think after we fell was the second. No, sorry.
the third
After we collided, 12%. After we fell was the first donut. 0%
0%.
critic score on
I
Rotten
don't blame
Tomatoes.
them at all.
Now,
I really thought the second one would be a little bit higher just because of how bonkers it is.
no, but the audience score
audience
was
score
really
is
high.
whack. After we fell makes sense. Zero.
Okay. That's bad.
What do we
though.
believe? And we'll go around the dais here. The critics' score on Rotten Tomatoes for After Ever Happy. We'll start with Rhiannon.
I want to say 9%.
9. Okay. Georgia.
Yeah, I was going to go with like 6 because it's climbing back up.
9, 6. Swapping around 69 after. Nice. Pete.
I honestly feel like it's like I reckon it's like 0 as well.
0%.
Or maybe I was like 3. Nah, I'm gonna go 0.
This was just got 9, 6, 3.
I was like, no,
But you're gonna go 0.
I'm gonna say 0 just to break that
Well,
up.
I will tell you what the audience score is first.
Okay.
92%.
Yeah.
The
Oh my
fans
God,
are
I
in.
was gonna
Yeah.
guess low 90s.
The fans are in. But unfortunately, it does hold the ranking of the second 0% Rotten Tomatoes critic score,
I thought it was
which
a bit
is
off.
fucking
on.
wrong.
No,
Which
come on.
You know what? I kind of get it though
No,
because
you don't. Come on. Pete.
No, I get it.
Think
because
about what you just watched.
Exactly.
You said there was a good shot once. That at least
least
deserves-
1%.
that
But
at
no,
least
but you know what?
1%.
If you in a review, if you say there's a one, there's like if you can say there's a good there's a good shot in it, but you still give that review like
0.5.
2 stars. That's still a negative,
still a negative
review.
review.
So you can have positives in a negative review, but if overall your
Oh
review
my
of
God.
the film is
this
negative,
just dawning on you now? That's how
It would
reviews
still
work.
be
Yeah,
negative.
but why? But I don't.
50%. Is
Less
that why
than
it's negative?
60%.
if it's less than 60%, it's negative.
negative.
Yeah, it's. But I'm saying you could have positives in your review, but if you're still overall like it's not a good movie and
Yeah.
you still give it like 2 stars, that's still a negative review. So even if there are lots of negative reviews that have some positives in it, if they're all negative reviews, it's not going to make it go up. So that's why I can.
We're talking about you though,
Yes,
personally.
yeah, but I can understand why
Yeah.
critics would
Like-
watch this movie and not like it.
But not
I can
you as a
But I can
critic.
see why audiences.
What would you give it as a critic then?
Oh.
I wouldn't give it.
I'm
I wouldn't give it a positive review in terms of like because of how bombastically stupid it all is.
I love the
But I can
fucking-
But I can be
Side-eye.
like. But my review. But in my review, I would be like. But I would recommend this to fans of the series and to
Yes.
people who like.
Oh,
what-
you're being so politically correct right now for the review world.
You wanted my answer. I'm giving it to you.
That's a real...
Don't try and gaslight
Give us a
me
number.
into-
Give us a number, Pete. Give us a number.
I'd probably only give that like 1.5 out of 5.
Okay.
What's that in? So what percent would that be?
0%.
That would still
would
add
make
to
it
the
0.
0% because it's still rotten.
But I can understand why audiences like it because
Let's
it's, because it's
I
entertaining,
think
but
this
it's
is what-
entertaining for
All
all the
I
wrong
wanted to
reasons.
hear-
That's what I mean.
All
is
I
what-
wanted to hear was you say you'd give it 2%.
No,
I just-
but
Oh,
that's
no,
not
no,
how
no,
it works.
that's not how it works.
Because 0% means
all
that no critics have
are
given
giving
it a positive review.
Why are we guessing like 9%? And
Because
stuff
that
then?
means
Because
9% of critics gave it a
could have given
positive
it a positive
review.
Oh!
We didn't even know what we were guessing. This
Yeah,
game was rigged. I just thought 9 out of 100.
9 out of 100. I thought it was what you give it.
We've done this
Which is why when I was trying to explain it to you and you were
Is
like,
that
yeah,
why
I
the
get how
six-
percentages work. I was like, I don't think you do.
Is that what the 60% part of before was about?
Yes.
That's why when you were like, I know how percentages work, I was like, oh.
We are just mere mortals here, okay?
This is why, you know what?
God.
This is why you like this movie.
We're joining the strike. The entertainment.
That's not how it works either.
I know how it works.
Holy shit.
But thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. You're
Sorry,
so...
I want to guess again then. 0%.
I want to guess again.
Yeah, okay.
0.
Well, you're right. It's 0%
Yes.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
We're all right.
But that means that
couldn't go any better.
That means that 92% of audience members who watched it gave it a positive
Positive
review. But
review.
a positive review can still be just a 3 out of 5.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
so audiences
That
love
makes
it,
so much
That
but
makes a
critics
lot more
don't,
sense.
and that makes sense when you watch that film because that's made for an audience.
They make that absolutely.
It's critic proof, so
By
to
the
speak.
time you're in the fourth after movie, you are only
don't-
making it
yeah,
for the
you don't
fans.
give a shit about what critics think by the time you're making that movie.
And that makes sense now why there's the audience versus the critic score.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, who the hell cares what, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Well,
hey,
you just
you
have to say
don't
who
know what
cares
it
what
is.
critics think.
Oh,
I don't know.
more about the audience, you know? Like,
Yeah,
Don't
fuck
worry,
us.
critics get it wrong all the time.
All the time. But we're not like other critics.
I don't, but that's fine.
I'm not like other critics. I'm a cool critic.
I don't get paid to write my stuff.
Yeah, we'll tell you that story later.
Yeah.
No, there was a fun little story about that. But the fans love it. The critics don't. But we are sitting here going like, it's our second favorite film of the franchise.
Yeah.
That is low-hanging fruit to pick. I'll say it. That's fine. But we still sat here and had a pretty bloody good
Had
96
a
minutes.
bloody blast.
Because it kicks off straight away with
I was-
opening
like,
credits recap.
I was shocked that it like literally just started.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that I was expecting like we got the Wattpad thing, but then there's
Wattpad
no
Studios,
but there's
baby.
no like
Making
No
tens of
music
thousands of
and there's
and
no
dollars.
like
Yeah.
fade in. It's just previously on like it's
Yeah.
it's like a TV series almost
Yeah.
where it
Which
just
we should importantly point out that in this recap is the main juicy detail is that in the final or the last film before this, Harden found out that Vance of Vance Publishing is his papa.
So we'll also say if you haven't seen like the after movies or
Just
you
go
haven't
back
watched
and
our
listen to the
episodes,
podcast.
this will make no sense.
None of
'cause
this
we're
makes
not
sense.
giving you any like
And we're doing it for the
previously
fans.
on.
We're making this for the fans.
Yeah, we're doing this for the 92%.
For the 92% of you who listen to this episode. And love it.
But yeah,
And for
like
the
it just
8%, fuck you.
it just started and it made
Recap
me
it.
like question.
Can I point out though that during this start, it's this really dramatic sort of like, arguments between Harden and Tessa. We find out that Vance from Vance Publishing is his dad.
Oh, I thought it was
Harden's-
Vance from Vance
Harden's-
Publishing, like the other Vance we need to know.
Not the other
about.
Vance, it's Vance from Vance Publishing. And Harden's getting on the piss and he's getting angry. And it's this really just moody, tense opening. And then it cuts to, we are family. And it's this happy little party. Very much a mood change all of a sudden.
With that weird dancing kid.
The weird dancing kid
And that-
who
and
its name
is
again?
weirdly younger now.
Someone said Smith before, but
I think it is Smith.
It's
I'm
not.
pretty sure she says.
Surely it's
I'm,
not
I'm
Smith.
sure she
You might be right.
I think she says. I remember. For some reason, I remember that.
Smith.
I remember reading the subtitles.
Oi,
I'm pretty sure
Smith
Smith
Vance.
came up as.
Smith Vance. That's a weird name. I don't like it. But it's not about what I like. And the kid looks younger than he did in the last film. I think he's been recast for the fourth time.
Probably.
He probably got recast.
And the mum like
mid-movie.
weirdly like clapping him along, like you're so talented. And I'm like,
she was
he's-
like, "Ooh, yeah."
yeah, yeah. And it's like he's moving his head from side to side. Like, let's not. He's not going to get a
He's-
Nobel Prize for that shit.
I don't think they give Nobel prizes for dancing. I just- they should. But then Harden storms in to the party to his mum.
When does he not storm into anything?
And when is he not drunk until the end of this film? And he storms in and he's like, Mum, why don't you tell me that Vance from Vance Publishing is my dad? And
That's pretty
shit,
accurate.
That's actually really good.
shit kicks off real quick. He's got, doesn't just have daddy issues, but he's got two daddy issues now. He's got double dad issues. Old
We should all be
Harden.
so lucky.
We should all be.
Like, oh, rough.
And he is drinking in the bar next to Vance, and Vance is like, I should have told you, man. And he's like, why did you tell me?
That impression wasn't as good.
Well, sorry that I'm carrying the boat for impressions here, but
He also doesn't ever refill his glass, and he finishes it twice.
ooh,
The dad ordered a drink from the bartender because Harden's not meant to be pouring his own liquor.
But I feel like he finishes it, and we never see it get
So
like.
he finishes it because the dad comes over and is like, "Don't drink that," and then he's like, "I'm gonna drink it anyway," and then downs it, and then the dad's like, "I'll have what we'll have two of those,"
Oh, okay.
and then I
I'm-
think they
guess
fill
I'm-
it.
all
right.
I feel like
She's got a keen eye
I
this
would
one.
have missed that because
I
all I saw was
wasn't
him
paying-
finish it twice, and I was like, I don't remember that. And I wouldn't put it past this film to have
I was going to
continuity
say
issues.
you're not unwarranted in being observant of some things that have not worked out in this movie. What's it called? Contingency?
Continuity.
Continuity. Contingencies.
Contingency plan.
Contingencies are made, so continuity is played safe. But they have an argument, and of course Harden, he storms in, he storms out, and we get a flashback in which we hear... You don't realize it's a flashback initially because you go, here's my little man. And she's on the phone.
Yeah.
Harden's mum's on the phone, and little kid Harden walks in, which Peter's basically said, like, I'll go back in time and kill him, like a little baby.
We should say Harden as a young kid looks Arabic.
He looks Middle Eastern.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything like Harden.
He doesn't look like a
The
pale,
ethnicity
He
is
doesn't look
not-
like a pale
But then,
white British
in
person.
saying that, we then brought up the fact that, because in the flashback, we see Harden's real dad, the dad that Harden grew up with, the alcoholic who abused his mum in the shithole
Rob
3-bedroom
Estes
apartment they live in.
from Melrose Place, who is the one that I would let wreck me.
We love that.
Yeah.
We stan him here. That's what the kids say. And he gets up and he starts telling Harden...
He's rich and he's got a good backhand on him, so, you know.
Oh, fuck. And he tells Harden to keep the noise down. But then we realize that dad and Vance from Vance Publishing basically also look identical. So
It's
Yeah.
hard to tell who's
who's the papa, who's not the papa?
I don't know who was in charge of casting, but why you would pick literal, almost identical twins to play two men that need to be obviously separate characters is
right,
beyond
yeah.
me.
Which
It's
is
wrong.
why I mentioned how, like, the first casting, at least you could tell them apart.
Yes.
So that's why I
Yeah.
think that casting
Totally.
was better. Even though age-wise, he didn't look like he
was
was
off.
old enough to have
He was off,
Harden
yeah.
as a son. You could at least go, that is Vance, and that's not...
That's not
Fred.
Vance.
That's not Vance.
Ken.
That's
Ken.
Ken.
He's just Ken.
He's not, but he's not Ken.
He's just Ken. And he's enough. And the reason we have the flashback at the house, though, is because Harden, back in the present day, is drinking outside his old childhood home, and Darrow no shoes Tessa walking through the London streets with no shoes
That's
on.
right.
Because he's abandoned her at this wedding in a
hasn't- he
foreign
hasn't-
city.
We'll put that.
We
Yeah,
do
we'll
need
put
to
that.
address
there.
that.
He was at a wedding with her.
At his
left.
mum's
At
wedding.
his mum's wedding, he left.
Right.
and she clearly walked to his house.
Yes, but we can't be mad at him because he just found out who his new papa was. Okay? We've got to give him a little bit of lenience here.
Yeah, bring me with you for your fucking sook. Don't
Yeah.
leave me alone at the wedding.
Although, when you look at it, you'd probably be like, "I'm glad he's gone because he sucks so much."
He's
in
done
this.
fucking 3 movies of Sookin so far.
He's a bit
Tessa,
sooky.
just get away.
And then because he's at his
the childhood home, yeah.
At his mum's.
At the
Can't-
Darrow
At his mum's derelict.
at the shit
um,
house
Dive.
2-level 3-bedroom townhouse,
in fucking South London.
and he can't get in. And instead of giving us a beautiful recreation of him kicking down the
Which,
door,
if you don't remember, the kick when he kicks down a bathroom door in the second half of the movie,
the
it might be
best
the
thing.
greatest scene in cinema history.
so instead, because he's naturally holding
A glass
a
bottle.
glass bottle,
Yeah.
Like a pirate.
breaks through breaks through the door and goes inside, and like a normal person, decides to light it on fire.
yeah, but the funniest part is that the alcohol he's pouring down isn't necessarily like insanely flammable. Like, it will create a bit of fire, but it's not going to set fire to
because
the
usually
entire living
usually
room.
it's like what, like vodka is usually what is.
Yeah, but like,
Is it? Is that usually the
know.
most
I'm
flammable?
just-
it's not going to burn. It's like it'll burn out.
Yeah.
It won't
Yeah,
burn.
it won't like burn like a
But
yeah.
even more than that, it's like, where did this idea to light his mum's house?
Yeah,
Is
like-
this revenge
Well,
for
I
her
think it's
not
just
telling?
all maybe. It must be like this whole childhood of mine
Was
that
a li- was
I,
it like- is a
that
lie.
I got hit, that my mum got beaten, and that I had to deal with an alcoholic as a
like
father.
he's literally like burning his memory essentially.
Yeah.
Too deep for me, obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a high
Hey,
IQ
to be fair,
movie.
I I just was like, oh, you know what?
the
That's what's
brain
happening.
was ticking over.
It's a stupid thing to do.
And of course,
Like,
Tessa's like, "Don't burn down the house," and he's like,
Burn down the house.
yeah.
and he's just like, And he's just like, I can't fucking all my fucking memories, Tessa. I think he's broken a record for the most fucks used in a movie in this
But
movie.
not good fucks.
Not good fucks.
No.
In
dumb
probably
fucks.
two ways in
Yeah.
this movie.
Except for when he said it that we were both grossed out and you were like, I kind of like it.
Oh, there was
yeah.
there was
We
one
liked
fuck
that
that we
one.
enjoyed. That's true. But to save the day, Vance from Vance Publishing kicks the door in. No, it's his dad. His dad, alcoholic dad, isn't it?
Ken.
No, it's,
Is it Ken?
No,
I thought-
it's
it's
look the
Vance.
same.
Vance.
It's
They look the
Vance.
fucking
It's
same.
They're in London, mate. His dad's back in US.
Yeah.
So Vance, Vance
Vance.
opens the door because he lives there, so he can just. No, he
Oh,
doesn't live
no,
there.
he doesn't live there.
He kicks the door down, I think. But
No, 'cause
Harden's
the door's
opened
open.
it.
The door's already open.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah.
And he's just like, I should have told you. I should have been there for you. He's like, why weren't you fucking there for me? And we don't need to watch the movie. I can do the whole thing for you right now.
I love that he's like, Tessa's there and she's like, we need to go. And then he.
Stop lighting the
Like,
house.
Stop lighting the house.
You've lit the house on fire.
And he's
We've
like,
gotta go.
no, I need to
wanna
see
die
it.
in
I
here,
need to see
Tessa."
it through. And then the dad's like, no, get out of here. And then he pushes him into the fire.
He pushes him right where the house is burning to get out the back door.
And then they get out the door, and then because the dad,
Vance.
who is like
The dad
my
who is
son,
Vance.
like my son is an alcoholic piece of shit who's burning my house down.
I bet.
But you know what I'll do? I'll take the blame and I'll give his girlfriend my
Beautiful.
Give him the keys to the
BMW
Give him
with
the
like
keys to the Bugatti. Way.
So they drive off, and as she says, she's like, I don't know where I'm going.
She's
So
like, I
they
just drove. But
drive.
also, he's drunk like a skunk. He's burning shit down. I would be all hopped up on adrenaline. He just sleeps the whole car ride
Yeah.
to the next morning.
And then, of course, after he's abandoned her at a wedding, she's walked to literally went into a burning, like stayed in a burning house trying to fight to get him out of it, then driven him away to be there. As soon as he wakes up, Tessa, I think we should break up. I'm not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fucking shit, but like too late, bro.
Yeah. And then they
She
get out
loves
of the
you.
car and they have like this like stupid argument, and then he sulks and gets back into
in
the
the
car.
car.
And then naturally she's like, you know what'll fix this? I'll
Pussy.
fuck him.
Pussy.
No, but even
The
worse,
power
he
of the
gets
pussy.
back into the passenger seat.
Yeah, he doesn't even offer to drive.
I'm passenger princess only.
I'm the PP. But
And-
the power of the pussy, because he says, I love you. We don't think he climaxed in that scene, actually. I don't think anyone comes.
It was a really
watching that.
boring sex scene.
I know
as
you
far
guys,
as
I know
sex
you guys
scenes
are
go.
covering your boners right now.
But it was drawn out.
And it was a long.
was long.
It was a long sex
It
scene,
was a long
and I'm like,
sex
I'm
scene.
all, like, I'm not one of these people that thinks like sex can be used in film. There are a lot of people who think sex is unnecessary. I don't think it's
No,
unnecessary.
if it's done well.
But
bam.
this was just a boring
and
sex
there was
scene,
like
and
no
there was
different
no.
angles. Like it was just the same shot.
It was
over
literally
and
just like
over.
her face. Just
Even
like,
he looked bored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of just going.
I think we said that. We were like, surely they're bored of fucking each other after, like the actors, after 3 movies. And we're like,
And also,
this is just a Tuesday for us.
that car, that would be, in reality, that would be so uncomfortable. You try to fuck in a car, it's never as romantic as people
We're
think
only
it is.
12 minutes into the movie and they gave us our first sex scene. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we got it as early as we did. I just want to
Bit creepy,
backtrack
he
for
kind
two.
of noted when it was. But that's
I just
all
want to
right.
backtrack for 2 seconds because we have been making fun of Harden's voice, but Tessa has some pretty great fucking lines in this movie. Back in the firehouse argument when the house is on fire, Harden spits some fucking bars, and she goes, "Don't quote Hemingway at me."
Oh.
During the middle of an argument.
Hemingway obviously has made such a huge impact on this relationship because it's mentioned. He is mentioned so many
Like,
times.
it's, like, it shouldn't be mentioned at all, and it's mentioned more than
Way
Why
more.
are you saying this?
Yeah.
You know what they say?
Because they're smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they're learned
they're
people.
so smart.
So cultured.
Do you know what they do
So
say though? Anna Todd is the Hemingway of our generation. So
Who's saying that?
the people. And then
The 92% of people.
Harden's listing off like he's like, I've got an alcoholic dad. I watched my mum get bashed and raped, and then Tessa shouts out, "My dad's homeless,"
That was hilarious. That
which
scene.
is brilliant.
like a really good you ain't gonna win this one.
Yeah, she's
But
like,
it was also
checkmate.
quick that nothing was like even sinking into each other. They were just yelling misfortunes, and it was just nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing was being taken.
Like
it was all
almost,
just like
almost like she's held on to that to been like, there's going to be a time that I'm allowed to
Yeah,
say
well, I
this,
can
and
use
right
this.
now it's now, because
Yes.
otherwise you can't use it in any other context. Like they can't be having like a fight at dinner, being like, oh, these potatoes are cold, and she'll be like, my dad's homeless. He didn't even have potatoes.
Oh, fuck.
Oh god.
But we've had our first sex scene in the car, and it's already broken one of the cardinal rules. Something we praised this franchise for, which was for
Yes.
practicing safe sex. But they raw dog it in this car.
They raw dog it.
And we're not happy with that.
That's
We're not.
why
No.
she can't get pregnant.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert. So boo you after Ever Happy for not.
Yeah,
not
we were
providing us-
so like on board with safe sex, and then they just went.
And then all of a sudden they're just like blam out the window. Because I would get Harden's dick checked after the next place he goes
Oh,
to.
that
Because
was-
after they break up,
that sentence ended differently to the way I thought it started.
hey, you know, I'm full of surprises. Probably like the STD list of Harden, because he goes to a crack den
Yeah.
apartment.
Obviously an old
Run
mate.
down, derelict.
It's his
little
old
place.
life.
Would that be like those guys that like is it the second film that like at the pub that he like runs
Oh my
into
God,
and then he just
yeah.
like dismisses them? Would it be those
Yes,
guys, you reckon?
It could
It
be.
could
Yeah.
have been. Yeah, that was a weird scene.
Yeah.
oh, I forgot about
Harden,
that.
Like 20 people, Harden, come for a beer. He's like, well, nah, I don't drink anymore. And he walks up, they're like, okay, bye, Harden.
Like, and it was like people that he probably hasn't seen for like
years
and years
Because
and
he's lived in America.
yeah.
But he
yeah.
he goes, Tessa and him have had their breakup sex, and he goes to this fucking crack den.
No, well, they have sex, and then he gets someone else to give her a ticket back to America.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Sends
it's
her
like
back.
so it's like
I
I
can't
don't
be with you.
What's Vance's wife's name?
Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Where she goes, I'm just so glad that we can speak about what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
yeah,
glad
because
that you're going through such a hard time because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Which is
Because
so
she's like-
mature.
yeah, because she's like, because obviously my husband is Harden's dad
And was just sleeping with.
with another
Harden's
with
mum.
But yeah,
yeah,
person,
so
yeah.
it's like, so I'm going through a lot of shit, but I'm really glad that you're going through something worse.
worse,
And you're
yeah.
like, and then and
her
then
dad being homeless.
and Tessa's not even like, that's kind of a thing. She's like, yeah.
Oh, the
like-
girl is desperate for friends,
Yeah.
Pete.
Oh,
We've-
well,
I mean, we've talked
she's
about
not
this.
good at making them, as we find out.
She hasn't had one friend through this entire
Let's just,
series.
yeah, that'll come up. So Tessa's going back to America. She decides she's going to live in New York City, but while she's planning
the
this
easiest,
future,
cheapest city to live in.
while she's planning her future in the NYC, Harden's getting fucking lit with the boys, drinking bottles of vodka, getting kissed by this random chick.
None of this has happened in the right order.
No, this is absolutely how I've written it down. Okay, no one else took notes, but guess who did take notes?
She
right.
can't. No, you
All right,
missed the
Cobber.
scene where she comes out of the bathroom. So
No, I'm
Flash-
getting to that.
that she was in London still.
Yeah, I'm saying she's preparing to go to... Guys,
okay,
if you
okay.
listen to the podcast, you'd know the style of the show.
All right, Nick. Sorry. All right, keep
Captain
going.
Nick's leading you on the right path. She's preparing for New York City. We can roll the tape back on that. Isn't that the whole... Yeah, oh, she's okay, no, fair. She's not. No. She's going to America. She's going home, then she decides she's in New York City. All right.
You're jumping ahead yet again.
All right, hold up. He
Hold
goes to a
up.
crack den. He goes to the crack den.
Let's just do one thing at a time.
You're all throwing a lot at me.
There's a lot in
My
this
dad's
movie.
homeless, okay? So let's talk about the crack den, because
always the best place to
it's
start.
always the best place to start, the cleanest place to start. Harden's there getting lit with the boys after
Drinking voddy.
drinking voddies,
Oh.
kissing chicks.
Oh,
Tessa's
what the guy said.
Tessa's got her ticket back to the States, but she's not going back without a fight. Because then we get the bathroom reveal, which is one of the greatest shots of
yeah.
cinema history. Once again, showing off Tessa's fantastic choices of fashion. Who has comments about the dress that Tessa was wearing in this scene?
It's just the way they set it up. Like this sexy, like bound chicka wow wow music comes
Yeah,
on.
like,
Like
'cause,
she's
like-
gonna come out and be so drop dead gorgeous. She comes out wearing a floral long sleeve frilly dress with stockings and boots. She's showing less.
Extra curl in her hair.
She's showing less skin than an Amish person, and that's a fact. That's a cold hard fact. And she looks just like for a day out.
Yeah.
You
like
know,
walking in the park.
She doesn't,
Like,
it's like, she doesn't look
if you
bad. She
want-
doesn't look bad.
If you
It's
want to
just-
go out with your sister, that's what you could wear. Or if you want to get your man back.
Yeah, it's because of how it's like Kimberly's like, "Are you okay in there?" And she's like, "Okay."
She's
And
like,
then
oh my
and then the door, the
God.
door opens and it's like the music and we get like the
reveal,
and then
the
she
can up.
like steps out and you're just like, "Oh, you look like you would any
every
way."
day.
Yeah.
And Kimberly's like, "Damn girl,
Yeah,
get
like-
it."
And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going to go
Yeah, she's
get
like,
in.
"Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna get my man.
Yeah, go get that abusive boyfriend. Yeah."
Yeah.
Because
She-
that's what we like to do. Woo.
She uses her secret spy skills to call Harden's phone and interrogate the random guy
Well,
who answers it for
unintentionally
the address.
interrogate because she expects Harden to answer.
Yeah, that's true,
A
but
dude
hey-
picks up and is like, "You coming to the party?" And she's like,
yeah,
Who,
what's the
who
address?
actually ever
answers-
does that?
Yeah,
And goes, are you still
if
coming
someone
to the party?
if someone's phone, like if a friend of mine, if their phone rings, I would never answer it. I would literally just go find them or go, "Hey, your phone's just rung." I would never answer it and then go, "Mr. whatever his what's his last name?
Scott?
Harden Scott. Harden
Mr.
Scott.
Scott can't come to the phone right now. Are you still coming to the party?" And she's like, "Yeah, let me just like tell me the address." Oh, she's so sneaky. And then off she goes. And naturally
And she rocks up.
walks in,
Just pulls up right at the front and
Right at the
parks
front.
in the middle
probably
of an
illegal-
alleyway.
Definitely an illegal
walks
park in that
up,
part of London.
everyone's drinking their body.
and half naked.
It
half
definitely
naked.
also seems like it's about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
And then Harden,
Yeah.
standing in the corner, shirt open with his lovely little bird chest
he
showing off.
he has got at least 4 buttons undone from top to tail.
And there is no-
showing off that
And like
flat
I'm not,
chest
and
of
like
his.
I'm not like this isn't body shaming because
I'll
like,
shame it.
there's
It's
no
flat.
but it's because it's meant to look like
Sexy.
like
Appealing.
definition, and it's literally
Fabio.
and this woman's and then he sees her and he's like, "What are you
There's
doing
there's
here?"
a chick like wrapped around the back of
Not
like
even
arms
doing
around.
anything. She's just literally
She's
like a
like-
sloth.
yeah.
Like,
She's,
Yeah.
she's holding on.
And then he's like, "What are you doing here?" And then she's like, "You didn't tell me you had a girlfriend."
and
And then
this real fucking crackhead speech.
and
like,
then
"Yeah,
he
tell
and then
me."
naturally Harden, being the fucking gaslighter he is, he's like, "What are you doing?" Like he then
I
turns-
sent you back to the US.
like, "Get on your plane, you little slut."
Yeah, and he's like, "You don't belong here. Get out here." And then
so she goes to leave,
And she's like,
Yeah.
but she's like, I got one more thing to do. And I generally, the first time I watched this, thought she was coming back for a slap. Would have loved
it. But
But
she
no.
says one of the first, like, I mean, it's still dumb because she's like, "I want to go with you, but if I leave, that's it.
That's done. We're done."
And that's like the smartest thing she's ever done, where you just go, "Yes, leave."
I will say
Leave
this.
him alone.
Tessa says a lot of smart shit in this movie.
And then she fucking
Then she
and
reneges
then,
on all of
and then
it.
she ruins it.
But-
But yeah, she actually says, "I'm gonna leave. I will leave without you."
And she comes back.
and he lets that happen. Essentially,
Smashes some body on the ground.
Yeah.
All the boys go, "No,
not my body.
not me body. It's a drink with all the chicks." And she runs downstairs. Harden follows like a sad dog. And, you know, at that point, you'd think Harden would be like, "No, you're right." He runs downstairs after she's already left to go, "There's no us. We're not together anymore. You keep giving up on us." Harden,
and when you
you're
just
the
wanna
one
say-
who
yeah.
sent
No,
her
he
to
says-
the United States.
he says, "You just won't fucking give up." And it's like, after all the times that he's chased her.
Yeah, and then and that's when she goes, "You know what? You win." Like,
yeah.
And then he goes, and then we get this banger line from
Like-
him: "You'd know better than anyone else about me winning," which of course is a flashback to the
True.
bet, to the
bet.
infamous bet.
The
Yes.
first bet. The bet that started
Which-
it all.
and then if that was his response, and that you would just go, "You're like," you just want to say, "You're a fucking piece
You're a
of
prick.
shit." Like
You
just
suck.
like leave.
I think that line was meant to have more of an impact than it did.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Like, to me, that was nothing because the bet for me was stupid the whole time. But I think
just deep cuts.
But then it also
I think
doesn't
in
make...
the movie it's meant to be
Yeah.
like, oh.
And you sort of... And then I think in some ways you may be meant to be like... It's meant to make him kind of look cool. And all it really does is just go, this is just reminding everybody that you're a piece of shit.
You're a piece of shit.
Like the line that I think they were meant to be like, oh, we'll have him say it because it'll really like burn her. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, all it does is just remind us you're an awful human being.
You're a piece of shit.
Who tries to punch a wall
Yeah.
following this?
He does.
Oh, yeah.
He
That was
does punch
great.
the wall. And let's not forget, he really hurt his hand.
Really no.
He really, a little sad dog.
But
But
he punched a photo
yes.
and didn't successfully do anything to that photo
A mile
or to the wall.
Or to the wall behind it. But he bruised his hand like it
It's
got crushed in a
bloodied.
vice.
It's bloodied.
The makeup team are like, we need to do something. Can we just put like, let's put some
We're
red.
fucking bored,
Yeah.
can we? But then Tessa goes back home. Back to the
Finally.
apartment. And as she's looking around the apartment, she remembers. She has
this-
memories of the love that was.
They're baking a cake.
The bacon cake,
The fucking
they're
ash.
kissing, and
They're
then
reading.
literally like in Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos did the snap, they start dusting away. Like,
And as
I
you
was
said-
fully expecting, like, do you know what would be great? If someone made a cut of that, of Infinity War, when
Like,
they're all
added
getting snapped,
into it.
and they add all the shots from after, and they're all getting fucking dusted
But
away.
as Georgia pointed out, the best thing was like the dust doesn't...
It stays
The particles
doesn't
don't...
evaporate.
Shit. So it's like, oh great, it looks like you've just like burnt a vampire to death or something.
Literally.
So she's having all these visions, and then we quickly go back to the crack den where Harden's having his weird wet dream nightmares. He seems to he gets scared and then comes for some reason. Fear is horny for that boy. And he don't get comfortable. You do what you want. And
You do you.
his two mates are there, and they're talking about Tessa. And one of them goes, "Yeah, she's a bit of a bitch, isn't she?" And that's when Harden's like, "Wait a second.
I'm the only one that's allowed to call her a
He's like, "Wait a minute." But then we cut back, and you know what? Sometimes just there's poor timing when you call someone a bitch and she walks in on an overdosed dead dad in a bathroom. Because
I'm sorry.
Like, when it's being recaps, you just like, this movie is fucking...
this movie is chaotic.
Also, she's been in this apartment for like how long?
Yeah,
Not even...
she's had about 7 different visions.
Yeah, she swept up all the dust of the visions.
like that's
Imagine if it cut to her
done.
being like,
And
where did this
not
come
once
from?
did she walk into this.
She walks into the bathroom.
The first thing I do when I get home is
Is go to
pee,
the
so that's
bathroom, yeah.
unrealistic.
You should have gone. Could you imagine though, after seeing all these visions, cleaning up the dust, she walks up to her dad, and is like, "Dust? Dust?" First. Starts like brushing him a little bit. She's like, "Oh no, it's actually my
Yeah,
dead
so
dad."
the dad is there and he's dead.
He's
fully
dead.
dead.
And then we...
The needle's still in him.
Yeah. It's like he's fresh.
He's a fresh daddy.
And then...
He hasn't started decomposing.
And then naturally, like, she's upset. And you sort of think, this will be the perfect time for Harden to show us just the kind of stand-up guy
the guy
we know he can be.
But do you know what he doesn't? Do you know who does do that? Landon.
Landon.
And goddamn,
Little
we love
sexy,
Landon.
sexy Landon.
Oh, Landon. He's there. He even calls Harden. He calls Harden to let her know, and he says, Don't come to the... Like, she is not... Tessa cannot do this right now.
Yeah.
Her dad is dead. He's not a dust vision. He's really dead. And you shouldn't do it. And Landon's looking after Tessa, being like a genuine good friend.
Landon proving that you're like, this is what... And
This is the relationship we should be
Landon
following.
doing normal things
Yeah.
is like looks
It's
so much better
astronomical.
because Harden is such a piece of shit.
But it wouldn't be Harden if he didn't get on the first flight to the United States.
Didn't completely
This is how I see
ignore advice and go, I'm
is-
going to fly to you because
This
your
is how I
dad's
see
dead.
it happening. He's put down the phone in the crack den. He's kicked down the door of the crack den. He's kicked open the door of a car. He's kicked open the door of a plane, and then he's kicked open the door of Tessa's bedroom.
No. Instead of
He's
kicking
just
open
gone on a kicking rampage.
kicking open the door of the car, he's punched the window.
He's gotten a bottle and he's smashed
Yeah.
the window.
Then got
he
into the-
lights the
yeah.
car on fire.
Then gotten into the car, kicked the car door open and closed it,
And
driven
then
to the airport.
And then he kicked little Smith out of the way too, probably. But no, he barges on in and he's just like, I'm here to help you, Tessa. And she's like, I don't care. I don't want you here.
Please don't.
And then Landon's like, I told you not to do that. And they turn around and Tessa's not there anymore. But where
First of
could...
all, isn't she also like, no.
Yeah, she's mentally not
she's
well.
And Harden is really creepily like,
The
yes,
was
yes,
the
yes.
caption was hilarious.
The fucking the subtitles for this movie were great. They were, and then they Prime, you need to sort your shit out because then they started playing like 10 seconds before the audio. So
it's like we knew. So it's like we knew. Yeah, we knew the line of dialogue.
We knew what was coming. But Tessa sprints out of the bedroom, fucking Naruto style, and Harden's like, I know where she'll be, and he goes down.
But suddenly she's like, I know where she'll be, and jokingly he was like, oh, she'll be in the greenhouse with a beanie on, and she's in the greenhouse and she's wearing a hoodie, so it's
close enough. So they're in there together, and Harden is he's just not bringing it. She's there being like, I can't do this. My dad's dead. I'm in a vulnerable place. You are not good for me. So then Harden has a conversation with Tessa's mum, whose name is
Carol.
Played by Academy Award-winning actress Mira Sorvino.
And you know what? Academy Award-winning actress Mira Sorvino brings it in this movie because it is the most legitimately emotional delivery of dialogue in the whole movie.
She got like this is the same actress that was played by this is the same character played by Selma Blair in the first two films, and naturally Selma Blair because of her MS.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
and Mira Sorvino taking over. She got shafted in the third film. She's
like
literally
one
like
scene.
one,
She's in the beginning.
like
She's just in the beginning of the
in
movie.
a couple seconds. Here we at least get one
good
scene. And Carol
kills it.
says the stuff that you want like Harden to hear.
Yeah.
And then the annoying thing is she says the shit to him and
he just goes,
he's like, what do you want from me, Carol?
What do you want from
It's
me,
great
Carol?
because that delivery that she like is like she's got tears. It's authentic.
She's like,
it's
you're fucking up
moving."
my daughter's life.
And then
You
he
need to
literally
leave."
just goes, "What you want me to do about it, Carol?"
The way the conversation starts, he's like, well, to be honest, I don't give a fuck what you think, Carol.
He's such a fuckhead.
And you're just like, is this for real?
This lady just poured out her heart about a previous
And you
history,
just wanna
her
be like-
trauma.
And you'd be like, you're a 20, like
piece
you're
of
a
shit,
child. Like
dude.
you
What do
need
you want me to do,
like,
Carol?
Yeah.
And when she was talking about it, when he was in the greenhouse with Tessa talking about the dad, he's like, some people liked him. You did.
You did. And she's
Oh,
like,
no, that's at the funeral.
That's
Sorry,
at
it's at
the
the
funeral.
funeral.
But is it at the is it the greenhouse or maybe a little bit
She
later
goes
on
into the greenhouse at the funeral.
when she says things like I'm
In the wake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But you
yeah.
know how she's like I'm pissed at him.
Yeah.
And like I know that I shouldn't be, but I am. And he's like, well, even if he's alive or dead, you're allowed to be. And it's like, I don't really know if that's the sentiment that you think it is.
no,
My
it's-
favourite was, I'm pissed at him too. He ate half my pizza. I don't think it's the same level, Harden, but
It's not
yet
the same
again, you
level,
have,
and also not the time for a joke.
but of course that's what you think.
you have miraculously found a way to make this about you yet again.
Yeah, she's like,
Narcissist,
she's like,
such
he
a
was like, he
narcissist.
was homeless. He died of an overdose. I'm really angry at him. Yeah, he ate my pizza, so I guess we're even on
I
that
guess
one.
that is the my dad's homeless equivalent, right? That's
Literally, basically had his arm crossed in her pouch. I did like him, but he did eat half my pizza.
But you know, I know that other people liked him, like you.
Yeah, because he's my dad.
And she's like, yeah, I'm allowed to like him because he's my dad. I'm allowed to also be a bit angry at him, but yeah.
So
It's so
now
bad.
this bit confuses me the most. If she's banging on so much about her dad's homeless, why the fuck did he have like a rock star's funeral with all these fucking limos and black SUVs?
well, this-
popping
But
up?
as we found out, though, so we said it looks like a Marvel funeral.
literally, it looks like-
it's this beautiful, like open.
That was the good shot.
That was the good shot.
It's like the tree,
1%.
the trees, all of these like black SUVs. Everyone gets out, and you're just like,
Everyone's
for a
looking
homeless
nice.
for a homeless guy that apparently likes to steal people's pizza. A lot of people showed up for it.
So it's kind of implied in previous movies that Tessa and her mum aren't financially that well off.
Right.
Like,
Which
obviously,
you-
the dad
which-
left and they're trying to keep the
Which
house.
you wouldn't
like,
know
it's-
considering how they live. Like,
No, it's a beautiful
like
home.
Tessa kind of lives a pretty good life for someone
She
who's
does
like
pretty well.
struggling.
Yeah, but anyway, so the mum actually says to Tessa at the start of the funeral, you don't need to worry about money about this,
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
Which, for people who don't have that previous context, it's just such a random
Yeah.
comment. So she says, you don't need to worry about money, but we're giving him Queen Elizabeth II's funeral.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where this money
literally.
came from.
Yeah. And
But
if you
it's
and
fine.
if someone like and if you've been like sort of financially unstable,
Yeah.
and you rock up to this situation and your mum says, "Don't worry about it," you'd be like, "No, we
I'm
need to
all
have
of it.
this is a we have a conversation
Where
now."
did the money come from? And after we
Bless you.
see arguably one of the greatest moustaches of
Bless you.
no, that's okay. I'll wait for you. No, no. After we want
I didn't expect that sneeze noise from you. I won't lie. I didn't know what I was.
it's very
Do you want
unique.
to like a manly sneeze?
A very unique sneeze.
Next one I'll do a manly.
After experiencing and witnessing one of the greatest moustaches ever seen on a priest of all time,
Very Mario Brothers.
very Mario
Oh
Brothers.
My God, all you could see was his mustache.
Yeah, no mouth, all moustache. Oh,
After you sneeze.
after Pete sneezes, the sixth film in the franchise.
Bastard sneeze. The one
It
that
is
got away.
revealed that Harden paid for the entire funeral and has sworn Landon to secrecy about it, which is never a good thing. Because
No.
Landon's not a tattletale, but he'll tell the truth if he needs to tell the truth.
He's an honest man.
He's a man of integrity. He's a man of sincerity.
I'm pretty sure we hated him in the first film, didn't
Yeah,
we?
I absolutely did.
I think because we thought Landon was trying to get with Tessa so bad. We're like,
Yeah.
you desperate
Yeah.
fuck. You're a bit of a cuck. But now he's like, actually like, good guy. Material.
You desperate fuck.
You fuck cuck. That's what you are. But we love him now. We're standing Landon. And then the older Tessa and Harden argument happens again, in which Harden's like, I'm pretty sure he complains once more about something about her dad. And she's like,
As he does.
sorry, bruh, I'm moving to the NYC.
The thing that really gets me at the funeral is basically Tessa has had 2 conversations now with Harden that she is not interested in.
Yeah.
in
at all.
having a relationship with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He's hurt her too much. He's standing outside waiting for Uber. He's like, "You want to come with me?"
Yeah,
And she's like,
I think he says, you know what? I'm gonna go with you. Like he invites
No, that's
himself.
right. He
like,
invites himself through the next place.
and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like,
Well, first of all, he can't get an Uber away.
keeps
they
cancelling.
keep cancelling on him.
And Landon does the best thing ever and says, no.
He's
Yeah,
like,
'cause he asked for a
he's
lift.
like,
I've got somewhere
I've
else to
got
go.
plans, so no. And it's such like a baller move.
It is pretty
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah, and then he gets an Uber, and when it finally comes, he turns, looks
Also-
at it,
And
and,
he
then
says,
goes, actually,
I might
no,
come
I'm going to go with
with
you,
you.
Tessa. She's like, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you're
and
not
you
coming.
Have you
and,
heard anything she's
And,
been
like-
trying to tell
and
you?
you might want
man.
to take this Uber because it seems like everybody else is going to cancel on
Yeah,
you. So maybe
That's
just
why they
take
keep
it.
cancelling on him, because he's probably got like 17 marks against his name. Of
Yeah, they go, "Oh, this
of
fucking
Uber's
guy."
rocking up and being like, no, I'm going with Tessa.
He's probably been drunk in like every backseat.
Yeah,
And they're just
he
like, we're
strikes
done.
me- he strikes me as a 3-star. He'd be a rotten Uber. Rotten Tomatoes certified Uber.
Hey, there's
and then he proceeds to say, like she tells him yet again,
Yeah.
I can't, we need time apart.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't do
which is
this
fair.
anymore. And he just looks so shocked.
Like, yeah.
He's shocked, even
news
though
has
she's
just
literally
dawned
said
on
it
him
It's
so
again.
like,
many
we were going so well, Tessa.
We've been together for almost 4 hours. That's beaten our last record. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like,
We were silent for the whole funeral. What's going on? Like, yeah.
and then she goes, "We need time apart, and we'll see what happens." And he goes, "He's I don't believe that, and I don't think you do either." And then walks into his Uber, and it's just like,
Yeah.
you are the most arrogant,
a prick.
gaslighting
Yeah.
fucking
Absolute
prick.
How long
fucking
to?
prick.
When he's like, how
I think
long?
we, I think,
He's like, "How long? How long?"
and we were joking to be like 7 days, a fortnight, what? Months, Tessa, months.
he speaks like he's always got such a wet mouth.
Like he's always
Yeah.
fucking mad about something. Oh god, he's fucking brilliant.
Cottony.
A little cottony. But Tessa's sticking up for herself. She's going to the big NYC.
She does finally have a bit of a backbone
So she
to her.
quits?
The backbone is fucking great.
Yeah.
So she as an intern, she gets on her first day of being an English lit major, she
Yep.
gets a paid internship with one of the top publishing
Well,
houses
Vance
in
Publishing.
the city.
Vance Publishing. Yeah.
Vance
It's
Publishing,
Vance.
as Rhiannon says.
Everyone, advance.
Everybody knows Vance Publishing.
Do you
And
know
so
who
she
runs
just
Vance
quits
Publishing?
that.
It's
Vance.
Vance from Vance Publishing.
She just quits that
Yeah.
and moves to New York with no plans, no jobs, no connection.
And just go,
Except
that,
for Landon.
and you go, that's not a thing that happens because New York, not an easy city to just
start
survive
alive
in.
Start
And
alive in.
and then the funny thing is, she gets to New York, and she gets a job as a waitress
with Nora.
We've missed something hilarious. The Scream.
the Scream.
We have we missed a scream.
The
And-
Scream
yeah.
of all screams.
But I will just quickly say, moves there, gets a job as a waitress, and you go, getting a job as a waitress, that's still not going to make you survive in New York City. New York, like, you don't, it's not like we're very fortunate here where you can still live as someone who works in hospitality. Over there, not so much.
We've also missed we're on the right track because she's talking about NYC.
Nora.
No, Tessa, but she also discovers that she's infertile
Oh, yeah.
and can't get pregnant.
yeah.
Yeah.
In which
Nothing really.
nothing really
light-
comes
light-
out, to
light-
be honest.
But nothing really light or funny to say about that.
Nothing. No, it's the drama of the film that's.
But
not,
naturally, it turns
laughable.
into an argument where Harden again
well, because she gets
makes it all about himself.
She gets drunk as Harden decides he's going to clean himself up because he thinks he's obviously very much so fucked it up with Tessa and blames the alcohol. Tessa starts getting on the piss, gets a little drunk one
But you know
night.
what? Rightfully so. Like
Hey.
she's been pretty. She's
There's-
been
there's
sober.
There's worse ways to deal. There's worse
Yeah.
ways to outlet that emotion.
Yeah.
So,
and then he rocks up.
and he rocks up. She's drunk, gets into bed with her. We get really concerned for a second.
I was a
'cause-
bit like, I don't want this to turn into a sex scene
No.
because she's clearly
Comatose
intoxicated. And
almost.
thankfully,
it doesn't.
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Then
but
she wakes up in the morning and she's a bit like, what did we like? What
What did I say last night? Like, do you remember
Mm.
why you were drinking,
Yeah.
Tessa? Do you
And
remember
then
the reason?
she tells him like, I can't have kids. And
Yeah.
instead of him being like, oh, that's awful, he's like, oh, well, this affects me, doesn't it?
His reaction, he gets teary eyed.
Because he's like,
Yeah.
and he's like gripping his hands,
'Cause then
and
he's
he's his hair in his hands, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
and then she calls him out and she's like, you didn't want kids until like
And-
I told you I couldn't have kids.
And she also brings up, you also were with another chick at the crack den in
Yeah.
London, and he goes,
like a minute after we broke up.
excuse me, she tried to kiss me, and I threw up.
I literally threw
I
up.
literally threw
I threw
up
up
my
egg. I literally threw up egg noodles in her hair.
instant noodles
in her hair.
I threw up instant noodles when she tried to kiss me. What are you, 6 years old? What the fuck? But
I can just imagine.
Yeah.
how good is that? Is that she's like, I'm infertile, I can't have kids, and this is my problem, and you throw up when a girl tries to kiss you.
Yeah.
Our
You're like,
problems
that- yeah,
are
like
not the
that's-
same.
yeah, like, it's
my
a bit-
dad's homeless. You know what I mean? It screams that sort of energy. So,
But and speaking of things that scream,
yes.
so
the greatest,
essentially,
the greatest segue to the greatest
essentially,
scene.
when he finds out she's moving to New York,
Yeah,
he finds out Landon knew because she's actually moving in with Landon.
yeah,
And
And
he
this is
has
the-
oh my God, sorry.
the
And it's also-
tantrum of
Can I-
a fucking
Can I set it up a little bit more? Because I do have a line of dialogue here that he says before
Go
this
ahead,
moment.
mate.
Oh, this is like, yeah, I know which one you mean.
We were having sex. Fun, happy, consensual sex. Full of
Fucking love and fucking trust.
It wasn't a winner.
No.
It's not a winner. It's if your sexy talk has to be our sex was consensual, you remember that? Like
Yeah.
that's-
Remember all those? Yeah. Remember
that's
all those other
usually- that's
times?
just-
All of those other times I did it against your will, but now
Because
this time it
just-
was consensual.
Just putting this out there, if non-consensual sex is your kink, that's bad. That's wrong. But it doesn't necessarily make consensual sense.
like
the
yeah,
kink.
yeah. But then that's funny because that's at the dinner where it's Landon's
And
parents.
then Nora.
Nora,
Landon's woman.
Nora, who
Landon's-
is like his
Landon's
friend,
friend
but
that's a girl, you
she's
know what I'm
somehow
saying?
at the family dinner. So we're like, we know where this is going.
We love Nora.
And they talk about graduation.
Yep.
And this is when he's like, I'm not going to walk for graduation.
I'm not walking
And
down to
then
fucking graduation.
They all get like, well, maybe you should, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, fine, I'll walk for graduation.
No,
But
and
he's
then
got this little smile. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
fine,
like,
I'll
alright.
walk for
and then
graduation.
they all like applaud it, like good for you. You're doing like a normal thing. Congratulations. And then everyone else is
But-
like, by the way, like I'm going to New York City. Maybe
Yes.
this is a bit more of a thing than the fact that you want to walk at your graduation.
And
Like
they start yelling, they start fighting between each other. Landon comes out and goes, "What do you think you are, big man? You're a big piece of shit."
Yeah.
Best line of the movie.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah,
line of
and
the
because
movie.
Harden's got him about to hit him because
Yeah.
he's like, "You didn't fucking tell me you were taking Tessa to New York," and he's like screaming, and he goes to hit him. He's like, "Yeah, hit me, big man.
Yeah.
hit
Big-
me."
you
and
big
then
piece of
he
shit,
doesn't.
yeah.
And he runs outside. Tessa rolls her eyes and
So-
she's like,
she's
"Fucking
just like,
here we
I
go."
can't wait to go to fucking New York and
And
be
so
away from
she,
this.
she walks out to follow him, and he's like, "Oh, Tessa, I'm really sorry I got upset. It's just that you were moving to New York, and he didn't tell me that you were going."
But not before, and then
the
we
best
get
part
we get him
happens.
walking like basically right
the-
up to the camera and just like
This guttural scream.
But
And then the best thing is just because there's subtitles, it's screams. Like,
But it's just, I feel like we should all take a second and try and do our best, but not straight into the microphone because we don't want to kill the ears of our listeners, but like what we thought the scream really sounded like. Yeah. Would anyone like to volunteer to go first? I'll go first.
Oh.
To me, it was a bit of a...
he was always going to go.
That's kind of...
That was pretty
Thank
good.
you. I was channeling my inner
I don't know.
Harden.
Yeah.
I think we'll give it to you.
Well, hey, you know what? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 10 out of 10. So we get the scream.
92%.
But now...
0%.
in New York City, Tessa's working, gets a job thanks to Nora at the restaurant that she works at.
Yeah.
She's
So
like
it goes
a,
from being a publisher to a
she's front of
waitress.
house,
She's,
right?
Yeah, she hasn't really done the other way that you said.
Wearing
but that's
the
all right.
wearing the
Oh,
most
the worst
stylistic neon green highlighter
and
of a tie.
the worst fucking
oh, the
wig.
fringe wig.
That scene that we were like pretty sure he almost took the wig off.
Yeah, she's absolutely wearing an awful wig
It's awful.
with a fantastic, like she's auditioning to play the Riddler green tie. And Harden decides to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. And this is where we find out that Harden has this book that he has been, this series of notes that he's been writing about
So, like-
what we think is his life and his experience. And he reads it in a way that's his life and his experience, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, no one wants to add to that.
It's like
fine.
his journal. Like he pulls it out
Yeah.
in the meeting, and we don't hear it in that moment, but it's clear it's like
Yeah.
his reflection of his alcoholism, or that's what we're sort of.
Yeah. And you kind of like to think maybe he's finally taking responsibility
Yeah.
and he's writing everything that he knows that he can't like
And what
say.
and what better way to show that than to jump cut 5 months later?
Yeah.
And
With really awful cursive.
yeah, I didn't like that writing.
Cursive
And I'll tell
writing.
you what, it's 5 months, but these characters act like it's been about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because
Do you live a normal life? 5 months
Because-
goes.
Really
Very
How did
quickly.
she grow a fringe that quickly?
hey,
We should probably cut it.
Oh, of
she got them
course, I'm so
bangs.
dumb.
She got them bangs. And
She
5
bangs,
months
she
later,
bangs.
we're back at the restaurant. The
I was like, how did I get my fringe?
the waiter
You're all baby hairs.
one of the most fun things is that in this 5 month period we are reintroduced to the waiter that is flirting with Tessa in the third film. Now, I just want to
I remember that scene because it was like she did nothing wrong.
No, and he
And
was
then
just
he-
he was
and
just
the-
being a flirt. Like,
Yeah,
it was just
and she took the number just like
it was
like, to be
polite,
politely.
and he wasn't being weird about
and
it. He was
Harden
just-
had literally like kissed someone
someone
else, hadn't he?
and
Hadn't
Harden
he?
was ready to commit fucking homicide
Yeah.
on
Didn't
this
he
guy.
didn't he kiss Molly?
No, he was
that
flirting
was-
with some girl he used to know, but it turned out
That's
she was a
right.
lesbian.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
And then he was like,
So it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well,
but
in his mind, it
he's-
was okay because he's like, I didn't take her number, and she was like, I didn't call him.
He's back.
Like, yeah.
Do you think they pitched him a 2-movie arc for his character when they signed him on in the third one? Like, listen here, you're going to just do this little flirt scene, but we're going to bring you back bigger and better than ever and give you literally double the scenes in the fourth movie, which is 2. He gets 2 scenes in the film.
Yeah, it's like if we weren't the after connoisseurs that clearly we
That's
are,
true.
we probably would have seen him and just gone. He
Who's-
looks kind of
he's
familiar,
familiar.
but he doesn't do anything to make
They
you go.
don't reintroduce
like,
him well.
yeah,
No,
'cause he
he
literally
just-
he like pops up and just like, oh, we know him because
like
we
hug,
know
they
these
hug
films.
again and then
Yeah.
they're all having dinner at the restaurant like,
Like
Nora. And
I
all
would
that.
expect almost this film for like when he comes on for us to get like a quick flashback of them like looking at each other at the
Yeah.
table or something, and then
Yeah.
you'd at least go, Oh, it's that guy. But yeah.
Do you know what really kills me? It's like every movie, you know, she has Landon, she has Sprousey, she has
We miss
this
him.
waiter guy, all of which are these very nice, very good choices, normal men.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they just stick around and do all this shit for her, and she's just taking them all for a ride.
Yeah.
Because she
Yeah.
never has any intention of giving them anything.
Yeah.
It all goes to that fuckwit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me a bit upset. And she has no girlfriends, only guys she strings along.
We were saying that
And
in
Nora.
5 months.
And Nora, who's friends by association.
And we were saying in 5 months, she has made
No
zero
friends.
friends.
No
And you're just like,
and
that's not.
the waiter guy talks to her about it too, because
Yeah.
he's like,
You don't have any
and she's like,
girlfriend.
oh, it just takes an hour to get anywhere in New York, and
Which also kind of like you go.
with anyone. I'm like, you're a privileged bitch. Like,
yeah.
Which makes even less sense when he offers to take her to a friend's art gallery. She's like, "Oh, I've actually got something on tonight." With who?
Well, the
You
annoying
know-
thing is that the thing
No, no,
was.
we know what
Oh,
we know what it is.
what it
But
is.
like, if I was him and we've just spoken about how you have no friends and it takes so long to get everywhere, my first question would be like, "Oh, where are you going?
Yeah.
Just by
Yeah.
just by chance.
Yeah.
Where are you going?"
Yeah.
So
yeah.
true, Nick.
But we got a
So
couple of
true.
things to hit on before that because
Yeah.
5 months later, and we're back at the restaurant, and Landon comes up and
This
goes,
is where Landon does the first dumb thing. Like Landon is like, because they live together.
They live together.
And he's obviously spending a lot of his time at Nora's place.
Yeah.
And he's like, so they've got the place to yourself. He's like, I understand you don't want to see Harden,
but
Harden doesn't have to stay here if you don't want him to. Like you
he's
can,
invited.
you can stay.
Harden's coming over. Landon
But
is
he's like, but
invited
you
Harden.
can stay at Nora's place if you want. And she's like, no, it's fine.
fine. And
she's taken double shifts, so she doesn't have
But
to see him.
he's also gone. I've also invited him to the restaurant
Yeah.
for dinner.
Which you just go, that's when you just go, you know how much Tessa doesn't want to see him, so you inviting him to her workplace
fucked up, Landon.
that's
There's
dumb.
nowhere else to eat.
Yeah.
Also, do you know what?
Not in New York City, no.
Landon's defense, I can just see Harden going, "We're going to Tessa's restaurant," and
Yeah.
then
He
just
doesn't know she
And
works. I don't
Landon
think
prob-
she knows. He knows.
Mate, he would
Yeah.
know. He
And
would
Lan-
have hired
and
her.
Lan-
He would have had eyes on her all
And
week.
Landon's probably just like, I don't have the energy to fight with you.
Literally.
And just be like, so why are you friends with him still?
Yeah.
Well, they're stepbrothers.
Yeah. I mean, they're forced to be friends, I guess, to an extent. But-
it's very easy not to see your siblings.
He rocks up. Tessa is
It
told.
makes it sound
Harden's
like I hate
here.
my sibling. I don't at all. But it's
And-
very easy to like not hang out with them.
As she turns around, she runs into Harden, and they touch hands quickly. Which, briefly on the hands, can we just jump back to the beginning of the film? He's got King and Queen tattooed on his fingers.
It's so gross.
It's gross. And it makes me think that at one point in his life, he's like, do you want to get fingered by the king? What about a queen,
yeah,
too?
that's
That's
what
kind
I-
of strikes me as something Harden would say.
and that's when I was like, wow, full house.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Royal flush. Anyway.
Want to play chess?
Anyway. I just trying to come up with other board game related.
Well, I was only coming up with board game because King and Queen.
King, Queen, yeah, okay, fair.
So yeah, she really passive
Sorry,
aggressively
thanks,
just
Georgia. Bring us on track.
passive aggressively. She's like, yeah, okay. So what do you want? Like, take
Yeah,
it.
like she's like-
very trying to act very
Like she's like, I'm at my job.
So-
I don't want to fuck this
and
up.
he's like,
but
what time do you
Do you
get
finish?
off? And
Yeah.
then she finishes really early in the morning, and here he is waiting for her outside.
Waiting for outside.
And she's got this little smile,
like, oh, he's like, oh, he can't get enough of me. Like, is
like
are you
he
just like,
came. I'm
Yeah.
like, you bitch. I was so proud of you, and you've lasted 5 months, and all it takes is this guy rocking up,
Yep.
looking at least semi-sober, and you're
Yep.
just absolutely...
and you look at him and be like, 5 months in a new city. And Josephine Langford is a very pretty girl. How are you not like? How do you not have dates, like fuck buddies, like you have? I'm like, New York City. You should be
Yeah.
swimming in
You're a
dick.
cream of the
But
crop.
no, she's
But no,
working in a
she's
fluoro
working-
green tie and waiting for Harden to come
Yeah.
find her.
Yeah.
And-
So then they start walking down the
And
street.
he's
Oh,
talk-
this-
hold on,
this-
but first, because he's talking about his therapy, He's talking about how he's a changed man.
And all this time, he's acting very debonair and
Yeah.
calm.
And
Like,
you're
he's
almost-
trying to put on this
Yeah.
And you're almost
exterior that
like,
he's
maybe,
healed.
you know what? Maybe
Yeah.
this is the Harden that she deserves. But all it takes is
one hobo jump scare.
Hobo Joe.
Hobo Joe.
Hobo Joe
Jumps out and
walks out, and Harden like goes into like
he goes
immediate,
in full defense mode. Get the fuck away from Tessa.
and she's like, and then she's just like, it's okay. Hi, Joe,
Hi,
and
Joe.
and gives him
The leftovers, right?
fruit.
Yeah.
And then Harden is kind and like Harden, you can see him almost being like,
Harden is like,
oh.
you associate with homeless people, and then she's like, my dad was homeless and he's dead.
And I won't let the same thing happen to Joe.
But but it immediately after
Like it shows you, okay,
everything-
he's still a piece
He's
of
still
shit.
the same fucking
Anger.
hot-headed,
Yeah.
anger, gaslighting motherfucker that he's always been.
That's why the moment later
next
the
night.
next night with Joe.
Oh my god!
So then Tessa finishes work again. She comes
But
down.
Harden's not there.
He's not there, and she's so disappointed.
She's like, oh,
She's like,
I was sure you were going to be there every night.
But then he comes a running. He was there.
sprinting on
He's like,
through.
sorry, I was late. The 2 a.m. Uber. I was late.
They kept cancelling on me.
I've got a piss poor rating.
0.
And,
Do you know how far away you live from your place of work, Tessa?
and at least an hour.
At least an hour.
And they're walking together, and then Hobo Joe emerges
Oh.
once again, and she gives the chips over, and she keeps walking, and then Harden takes his scarf off and puts it over Hobo Joe.
And she
had a scarf.
He absolutely
He looks pretty warm. He had
was
like,
bundled
I'm
up.
pretty sure he had like 4 scarves and like a really nice like tweed jacket or something.
He's probably like, he's like, another fucking scarf.
He's also probably just like wants to walk up to him and be like, just so you know, I'm not homeless.
he's just
I order this food every night at 1 a.m.
Like you just assume that I'm a middle-aged man walking on the street and I'm your dad all of a sudden. Like, no, all right.
It's just crazy because she just looks
like-
up at him like
yeah.
he
Like
is
has just like
the nicest
like yeah,
person
like he's
in the
just
world.
like chained, like he's just like cured.
Changed me.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, this has been one night,
Yeah.
and he's only doing it in front of you.
Yeah, like
But-
if you weren't here, he wouldn't be giving
It's
his.
so funny that you bring up that it's just been one night because it leads back to Tessa's place, which after all this therapy and Alcoholics Anonymous, Harden reveals that he still drinks beer and wine, but I don't drink a whole bottle of that hard stuff anymore.
So it's like, so you're still an
So you're still an alcoholic.
So you still drink.
You're still an
So
alcoholic.
that completely negates the point of alcohol.
And I think it's really insulting, to be honest,
100%.
because there's people
Who actually like
in
alcohol? Yeah.
alcoholics who struggle their whole life to overcome this addiction, and they can't incorporate having one or two casual
no,
drinks
they have
because
to-
it's too
they-
difficult.
they have
and
to-
just so in
it's an
5
addiction.
months, he's not only completely cured, he reckons, even
Yeah.
though he's had no emotional ups and downs in this time
Yeah.
that would set off his drinking.
Yeah.
And he also can have a casual
drink,
with
yeah.
friends for fun. It's just like
it's not.
One of the
It's
like.
unrealistic.
Did you ever watch the TV series Mum? With
No.
So that show, like that's because that's about they're alcoholics and they go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's probably one of the few like entertaining shows
About
that actually shows how fucking bad alcohol like
Yeah,
addiction
right.
is, because it's like they relapse and it becomes like, oh, this is
Quite serious.
real, and
Yeah.
like this, and like as you say, it's insulting to
Well,
people
this
to be like,
isn't it. This isn't that.
Like it's insulting to because it's like
Far from it.
it's insulting as you said, because you just like that doesn't like people take years,
Yeah.
and still can't be around like if Harden was that, he wouldn't have gone to that restaurant.
No.
Because he'd be like, I'm around too much, like I need to meet you somewhere else. And
Yeah.
Tessa probably should have been like, I don't want to meet you at
Do you know
all.
what the funniest thing is? Landon says that he's letting Harden stay in the apartment because he doesn't want him staying at a hotel because there's a
Minibar
minibar.
there. Yeah. So it's like, so let's take him to
He's a
yeah.
walking fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
So
Harden
he's
is.
a liar.
So it's like, so
He's a
yeah,
liar. He's
so
a
we're hearing,
thief.
so they're
He's a common whore.
like they're peppering like, oh, it's a serious alcohol, so we need to be him away. But then he's
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I'll just have a
I'll
few
have a
drinks
beer
and
and
it's
wine.
okay. And I'm like,
Which
no, because
also is played off very much so. Like it is just like it's literally written and played off as like a oh Harden, cheeky Harden getting
Yeah.
his beer, which is then capped off with a scene in which he goes to offer, like, she's like, you need to taste this, and she picks up whatever the fuck they're making.
The sauce.
He sucks her finger, and they start sort of like rubbing up on each other.
Yeah, so she doesn't even get to taste it.
And then he whispers in her ear.
Oh, this is the one that you actually like.
He
No,
whispers
isn't
in her
it?
ear.
Oh, that's in the. That's
is
the.
later.
That's
If
the
I
massage,
wasn't
yeah.
such a gentleman, I'd have you bent over this fucking counter right now. If I wasn't such a
I don't know,
gentleman.
that's kind of hot.
I don't mind that.
I don't
I think
mind
it's
that
because- I
from
think it-
anyone
I
from
think-
here.
I think-
Is that
yeah.
why Tess is into it
No,
now?
I think because no. Harden saying it, I'd probably be
Yeah.
like, ugh. But like if
He did say that.
Yeah, no,
no, that's what I'm saying. No.
conceptually,
Right.
yes.
That's the
Okay.
hot line. Like if some, like
Yeah.
like if it was not like if I wasn't genuine,
I can only
I'd be like,
hear it if
fuck,
Harden's
yes.
saying it.
But Harden saying it makes you just go.
Yeah, it's
So
He's
which
Tessa.
yeah, Tessa, if I was like
I
was
wasn't such
a
a
gentleman, I'd fucking bend you over the couch.
I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, we'll do it for months, Tessa, for
Oh,
months.
God.
And then she says actually a comment like you're a half gentleman, I think implying that he's got half a hard on. Did anyone else hear that?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw
But
the
that's-
subtitles as well.
And all this
That's
whole and this
great.
whole time like hard on.
Now I like that. That's the line I
Like you're a
like.
half.
Oh.
So now Nick's got to be like, oh, if I'd say,
But-
yeah, I'm half a gentleman.
Harden stops it. Harden stops, and he doesn't go on with it because he says, I'm not going to do anything until you're fully ready. And he sleeps on the
Because-
couch.
No, until you're fully ready to love and commit to me
Yeah,
again.
so it's gross, right?
Because
It's
as
not
they
it.
said, their sex is consensual.
Yeah, it's fun, it's happy, and it's consensual,
and it's full of fucking love and fucking trust.
So he Harden sleeps on the couch like a good boy.
Does he have
He
another
has,
night?
he has another one of his fucking wet dream nightmares. It's like Papa, and
It's just the shaking.
Yes.
it's the
as
shake,
well.
it's the noises. I mean, if we put him having a nightmare next to someone having an orgasm,
It'd
it would
be
be like
pretty
shock.
similar.
Show me the
Similar,
difference.
yeah.
But he's asleep on the couch. Tess is making coffee the next morning. Landon comes out and he looks at Harden and he looks at Tessa and he looks at Harden and he looks at Tessa. He's like, you cheeky little devils. And they're like, nothing happened.
And then-
But then Nora walks out of the bedroom and everyone went into a round of
That's
applause.
gross.
Because our boy Landon fucks. And that is the happiest I've been in this series.
But if I walked out of a bedroom and saw people and then partner walked out and people clapped, I'd be like, don't
Yeah,
applaud
because
that.
no, okay. When I say
People look
clap,
on Harden's
when I say
face as
clap,
well.
like,
When you like Harden's
He's
like,
like, he's like half laying on the couch. He's like,
when I say
Yeah,
when I
like-
say clapped, we clapped in celebration because we love Landon.
Yeah.
Harden
So
literally
he claps
in
him
the
like because it's almost just like in all of the 4 movies and all this time you've never fucking had sex, have you, Landon?
he's like, we
you
thought you were
fucking,
gay,
you
love.
fucking virgin, you piece of shit. And he's just like, dude, firstly, probably got a bigger dick than you.
Probably.
And secondly, I'm fucking Nora on the
Landon
rag.
does kind of have silent big dick energy about
Oh,
him.
dude, when he runs up and goes, "You big man, you big piece of shit,"
Fucking punch
I
me.
could hear his cock slapping his knees.
Yeah.
So he's a big dick.
Which is
boy.
probably why Harden was probably like, I'm not going to fight you on this one because you'll
he was
fucking
like,
win.
I've seen how big your dick is, step bro. Anywho.
That was a porno that started like that.
yeah. And later that night, after a long night at the restaurant, a long walk home, little hello to Hobo Joe.
At least an hour. 'cause
At
that's
least
how
an
far away
hour.
she lives.
She gets home, Tessa gets home, and she's like, I'm tired, my feet hurt. And he goes, give us your feet, Tessa.
And he didn't walk her home this time.
No,
did
no,
he?
he was home.
And he was getting ready for his meeting the next
But
morning.
did you notice that when she
A meeting?
like
What
did you
could that
notice
be about?
But did you notice that when she like got in and she sits down and he's like on the computer, she seems like like I know that she's tired. She just seems like really like they've just had an argument and she's doing like the like she just seems really
It's the
pissed
sign.
off.
Lots of signs.
Yeah.
He's draining.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
shit,
But the
man.
way, but
Drained
then
me.
the fact that the scene escalates to where it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense because she kind of sits down almost like she's making the noises for him to be
Yeah.
like, "Are you all right?" And then it's like, "Yeah,
But his way to fix it goes, give us your feet, Tessa.
All
Give
right,
us,
love.
give us the feet.
Give us your feet.
Give us your.
Give us your little piggies.
Well, Tessa,
I want them to go to market, don't I?
well, I'm the little piggy who stayed home. Anyway,
Piggies
he's not.
have a piggies never even met king or queen.
And this little piggy wanted to be fingered by the king. And
That escalated. But this is the line that you actually didn't mind.
about with the foot massages leading to
So
sex.
she
No,
then
the foot massage was cringe. 'cause
The foot
she was
massage
like,
is cute,
She was
yeah.
like,
he does the foot massage, yeah. And then
I've
he
never
does-
heard that
then he
noise
goes
before.
then he goes up to the leg.
Yeah, she's
And
like,
then
on the
it's like-
shin, on the shin.
on
He's
the
just like
shin.
he's just like
It's
tapping the shin.
That's a massage. It's like a squeeze. It's like, move.
And then she does. I mean, this is like pretty classic, like sex move where she's like,
She's-
I'll just
sits
sit
in the lap.
front of you, and then she's like,
She sits
moves
in the
her-
lap.
and this is when he moves the hair, and you
And we
almost
see the
you
hair.
see,
And
like,
then
the
here we
wig,
go.
and you're like,
Here's your line.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. Oh, well, she says, "Are you ready to do this?" And he goes, "I've been thinking about this moment for every second of every fucking day." Right into her ear. I don't know why it slightly goes. I don't know why it slightly goes into a small Jason Statham towards you. Do you
Oh,
think you'll
Jason
fuck
Statham-
every
Ja-
fucking second of the
If
fucking
Jason
day?
Statham said it,
Oh, he'd rearrange your guts probably.
Probably.
But is that the line?
Oh,
Is
no,
that the
he's
line
like-
where he was
Yeah.
whispering
that
about
was the
every
one where you
second
were
of
both
every
like,
fucking day?
Nick and I were both like, ooh, and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, I was a
It's
little
nice
ick.
to be thought
But
about.
again, at the same time, if someone else said
Thank
that,
you for your thought.
If someone else
penny-
said that,
penny for
I'd
your
probably
thoughts.
it's the same thing. Like someone
Yeah.
else saying it's because Harden's
It's because
just- he's-
Harden's saying it. I
There's
feel the ick.
there's no like sexual.
I
nature
feel-
to
I'd be
it.
like, how do I get a restraining order for thoughts?
Yeah, true. Good.
coming from him?
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I
don't
feel-
even think about me.
Yeah.
I feel the ick while Tessa feels the dick, and they go at it.
Yeah.
They fuck it. They fuck.
We finally get our second sex.
Second proper sex scene.
This
which-
one was-
This one's a bit sexier. For actually, the best point for this one is that it makes more sense for Tessa to take her top up than the top off, than the first scene where she's wearing a dress, which you can just hike up to have sex. You don't have to take the dress down.
And he takes the dress
have
down, and
sex.
she's pretty much wearing
The dress,
a bra that looks like the dress
the
anyway.
top of the dress.
So it
So,
kind of defeats the
whereas
purpose.
this one, as he's massaging, she begins unbuttoning her shirt. She's wearing like a lacy little red number.
bra. It's a bit like Tessa's
Brum.
a bit
Brum, brum, as they
Tessa's a bit
say.
sexy.
And the shoulder massage and continual rubbing in the hip area leads to fun, happy, consensual sex.
Full of fucking love.
Full of
and
fucking love and fucking trust. Then next morning, bit of post-nut clarity hits Tessa.
Post-nut.
Post-nut
Jesus.
clarity when she finds the notebook. When she finds Harden's book.
And it says,
Because he's out for a meeting and she's tidying up,
She's tidying up.
and
as
she.
women do.
It's great. It's great.
I was like, there's gonna be
It's
something.
great to see Anna Todd affirming gender roles.
Yeah, being
Amazing.
men go out to work, women stay home and clean.
And this is one of those moments where I have to admit that Tessa is not perfect because it's
True.
in his bag
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
takes it out.
This much out, like it's like a
But also-
centimeter out of his bag. He's like,
The
oh,
amount-
she's like, oh, have
and
a look.
she actually picks the bag up and it goes back into the bag and then
Yeah.
she's like, oh,
she's
I'll
like,
just
oh, no, no,
like,
she's
so it's like,
But let's just remember we've had 3 movies, we're almost at the end, so 4 movies of considerable trust issues, apart from the sex, which is full of fucking trust. Everything but the sex is there's a lot of untrustworthy shit happening. Do you blame her
oh, I
for
don't
wanting
blame
to read
her,
the book?
but
She's only human.
but it
But
shows.
she didn't even know it was a
but
book
yeah.
about them. Like
Yeah.
there was no.
Like it was like
It's
this
great
could be anything super
this could
personal.
be journals from his therapy
Yeah,
sessions.
like,
This could
I
just
You know what?
be.
They
I-
kind of are. They
Yeah.
are kind of. He says that these are things that I started writing that I was talking about in therapy. She goes, "This
you-
is my life
So
story."
you accidentally wrote a book about us, which
About-
I think
That's what
is
he
whole
says. He
life.
says. So anyway, he comes home. She's obviously been through it like a nosy bitch, and she's like, "I know this is about me. Like this has got stuff about me." And he goes, "No, it's about us and me. And I wrote it in therapy, and they asked me to read it." Which in the cutback scene,
They-
no one was asking.
No, he literally
just
sit-
pulled
he
it
literally
out.
sits there, and because Harden would be like, "I'm gonna make this about me. I'm gonna make you
He
listen to my
strikes
book."
me as someone who walks in during the middle of the AA meeting and someone's talking and he just sits there and goes, "All right, page 1." and then just starts reading the
Literally.
whole fucking...
And then Tessa makes a good rebuttal to him when he says it was from a place of him, and she goes, "Did you have to talk about my my dad
dying.
overdosing.
Like that's nothing to
And
do
Me
with
not being
you.
able to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's more about her than it is about
and
him.
the fucking lines
love it.
from this thing are toxicity itself.
So one of my favorites from this is that she goes and you accidentally just wrote a book about it, and he goes, yeah, and that's the only reason I'm here. There's a bidding war for my book.
I also accidentally sent it to several publishers.
And because we live in a normal world, all of those publishers want to publish it, don't they?
so
And also,
fucking good.
like, and it's a case of she picks it up, and it'd be different, like, you know, if it's a journal and he's reading stuff, like, but it's like this is it's fucking thick.
It's thick.
And it's bound with leather. It's got a title and everything. You're like, yeah, you've
What's the title?
definitely
What's the
you've-
title of the book?
It says after.
after.
That's asking for the audience.
You've
After.
It's after.
and you've
after.
and like because like so you've planned this.
On sunrise. Sorry, Pete.
Like it's like that's when you just go. You've planned this. Like there's none of this was like accidental.
No,
and as
none
he
of
said, it's like he's like so then you just go. Oh, so you really didn't come to New York for Tessa the way that you'd like to think you have.
So yet again, she has just been completely and utterly betrayed by him because he has sold the book before giving her any indication that this is happening, and that is just
so much of her
to
life.
me. It's
shit's gonna be in
potentially
there.
one of the worst things he's ever done.
Because you could look at
It's
it as
bad.
like just from like a moral stand. Like if I wrote a book and it had like friends and family in it, you'd probably be like, "Hey, I'm doing this. I'll let you like." First of all, you'd say, "I'm going to write a book. Depending where my mind goes, you might be in it."
Yeah.
But you'd go, "As a good person, I will show you what I'm writing, so that way you can either say." I like this, maybe leave that out. But we all know Harden's not a good person. No. But the fact that he finished the entire book and then was sold
put it into a bidding war.
and then was selling it off and it was almost just like, were you just going to wait till the book sold to tell
and
her
that's
about
the thing.
it?
It's not even that she's an ex he wants no contact with.
Yeah.
It's,
right.
it's someone he wants to build a future with, or so he
like
says.
you imagine he'd be the kind of person that would have after and be like, this is dedicated to Tessa, the person that's like would probably not come off great in the book because of how he would write it.
Write it. Yeah.
Like he'd be the hero.
So anyway, she's done again.
She's
but
done.
this
Yeah.
time she sounded serious the first time, but this time had a different edge to it.
She was.
Yeah.
This was like really.
She's heartbroken.
This is really like I
nails
like. This is like I really can't like.
I just
really
don't like
can't-
you anymore.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you're
totally.
so
Like, you-
selfish.
Like I loved you, but I was angry with you. But now it's just like I actually don't like.
I can't do
I don't
that.
like you as a person.
Can't do it
now.
anymore.
Yeah.
And Harden does what Harden does best. He goes for a little boxing lesson and he punches it out.
so irrelevant to everything.
With a coach who, rather than sitting him in a corner and
like
showing him
strokes him.
showing him
Yeah,
how
like
to do boxing,
shoulder
literally
pad.
goes, "Good work, great boxing, you."
Yeah.
Looks like could be like anyone's mum.
Yeah.
It's someone who's just walked
it's
into the
almost
gym.
like kids at school boxing and the mum's just going, "Oh, you did such a good
Yeah,
job.
that's literally
you're
what it
not
is,
very
because
you're not very sporty, but
I'm
you've
not a
done you've
boxer.
done a good job." Yeah.
I'm not a boxer, but I watch a lot of boxing and I watch a lot of UFC. He wasn't doing well, but they also played the scene like he was dominating the guy he was sparring against, who was twice his size.
Yeah.
Not hard when you're the size of Heroes Find Stiffens. Sorry if you're watching the show. I know these two are a big fan. If you ever want to say hi to them, reach out. And
I love how you said, I know that these two are big fan, just singular, just like you're one.
well, your collective love.
Deal.
Your collective love. You're both hiding your boners under the blanket. I'm thinking about that fucking line about I've been thinking about this every fucking day. And then Harden is having coffee with his mum and he shows the book that has the worst cover art I have ever seen.
yeah, it's
trash.
pretty bad.
It was a lot to look at. It gave me
Trash. There's a lot
migraine.
going on.
And literally, it's just the word after, but it's just the
doubled.
way
Yeah.
that it's done. And
It's
after,
doubled and mirrored.
It's mirrored,
It's
so
mirrored.
it's like
It's after big, mirrored after big, and then small after in the middle. But he
He's like,
hands
do you think people can see after on it enough, or should we add another one?
my publisher said it was a bit too subtle.
Do you think people think it's called after
Maybe.
after reading it as well? Gives it
And
to
he'd
the
be like,
mum.
no, it's just after. Ah!
he gives the copy to his mum. There's a note in there, and he's basically
And it's
like,
also the
he's
way.
also-
The
yeah.
way that he's like signed the book to her is like the way a kid would, like it wasn't even
like-
done. It's not even done like nicely. It's just
It's
like
just
mum
scribble.
and then like some fucking words.
scribble, and he's basically like, "Yeah, mum, there's lots of shit about you getting fucking beaten and raped in here," and she's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're telling your story, Harden." Like, it's just such an.
She doesn't have a leg to stand on, though.
She's so
She,
ambivalent. eh?
She's destitute in a two.
She's in a
townhouse.
different world.
he burnt it down, didn't he?
Also, Georgia.
Yeah. Where's the mum living now?
Oh my god! Yeah, what the fuck? Holy shit!
Don't know.
I'm sure Vance would have paid for it.
Yeah,
Vance,
yeah.
Vance from Fans
Because also,
Publishing.
we just realized Vance took the fall for it, but did he?
That's right.
Did he
We
go
were
to-
watching. He wasn't in jail. He hadn't had.
No, because Harden goes, after Tessa goes, he's taken the fall for you lighting that fire. Harden goes, he's got lawyers.
That's right. That's right. So you just assume either the dad did go to jail or
he's
he
we
was
never
like-
hear a thing
yeah,
about
we never
it
hear
again.
anything again.
He's got lawyers.
He's got lawyers, and the mum.
Easy tie up.
Yeah,
Done.
and the mum's also like, I'm okay with, even though
I'm
you
okay
like
with you.
potentially now his mum's homeless, and you're like, haha, the tables are turned on that one, haven't they, Arden? Haha, you stupid fuck.
Georgia brought up a great point in this scene as well, by the way. That Harden is once again wearing the scarf that looks very similar to the scarf that he gave to Hobo Joe. Do we think he stole it back from Hobo Joe?
I reckon he
was all
killed.
show.
I reckon he killed him.
You reckon there's a bit of an American Psycho thing happening
Yeah,
here?
he definitely does.
Do you reckon he
I reckon
bought
it was kind of just like, hey Joe, come to this dark alleyway. I got some food for you, and then just
Do you reckon he tried to box Hobo Joe to death?
Because essentially, like, this is his, like, you know how you get the author photo in the back?
Yeah.
So he's wearing the scarf
yeah.
in that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his
yeah.
hair is more coiffed than
Oh,
ever, and he's
it's
got
so-
this
yeah.
elaborately
Such
knotted
a
up scarf.
wankery photo.
But just our waiter friend comes back into it as we're going back to Tessa. So
That's
she's
so
invited
true.
him over for dinner, and there's a weird scene that she's made this meat dish, and he says, "I'm paleo pumpkin pescatarian," or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
he is. I
I'm
can't eat it.
plant-based.
I'm vegan.
yeah, and
I can't.
plant
I can't
based.
have it.
Plant-based.
Yeah,
Plant-based,
yeah.
plant-based. And she's like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
It's all good. Do you have red sauce? And she's like,
She's like,
And then she's like, even if I did, I didn't know what it tasted like.
Yeah, and he's like, no worries, I'll get takeout. So then he orders Chinese while she's having her chicken Alfredo.
And he
Yeah.
orders
And
which
then he makes her
tofu
eat a dumpling.
tofu dumpling.
Tofu dumpling.
He's like, go on, you'll love it.
curried
dumpling.
And
But-
she doesn't put the whole dumpling
It's
in her
weird.
mouth. She
It's
takes a
so
bite, which
weird.
which is
anyone who's
which
ever eaten
in a dumpling, yeah.
it'll
You
all just
shove
fall
the-
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
shove that whole thing in.
if you're giving someone else a bite of your dumpling, you're giving them the dumpling.
You
She-
take the dumpling.
Yeah.
So she has the world's smallest bite, giggles and goes, "That was terrible. I'm so full now."
And that's when after her little
Literally.
after when her little diatribe about being like, I have no friends and everything's so far away, he goes, hey, I've got a friend who's opening an art gallery. Do you want to come? She's like, oh, actually, I've got something on tonight. And what that is Harden's book reading and signing of his brand hit new book
Yeah,
after.
like the book is everywhere in the shelves. He's already got like a signing with the a reading with the author. He's got the like the big wanky black and white like.
And his fashion since becoming an author completely
He's in
changes.
turtleneck.
He turns, yeah, he
He's
looks
a
like
turtleneck
he-
man.
Yeah,
He's
He
Steve
turn- like-
Jobson.
but the turtleneck because the turtleneck also looks like it's
on
too
backwards.
big for him.
It looks like it was on backwards.
So it doesn't. So it does like turtlenecks. I mean, they're meant to really like quite complement
Yeah.
your shape, and his
Right.
just looks
No, this
like
is
he's
like a
wearing
poncho.
Yeah, his,
Oh,
is, his
mate,
is too big.
it's-
I was just like, wow,
And
you've got
so
like
he-
zero body fat. That should be sitting very like slenderly on you.
It
and
didn't
doesn't.
look good.
It
So
did
he's
not.
in this little bookshop, and then suddenly a mysterious figure comes into the back of the
So
audience.
mysterious because she's wearing a hoodie and a cap.
Ooh, looks
Tessa's
like she's
come
trying to
to-
escape the
Tess
government.
has come to spy.
She looks like Jason Bourne, but in Barbie land.
Oh, I'd like to see.
Yeah. So there's a
Hi,
couple
Barbie.
of people
Hi,
there
criminal.
to listen to him. A couple of people.
Oh,
And he spouts some shit about a girl.
He just spit some
He's
fire about
spitting bars about this
this love
chick that
story
he
needed
used
to
to
be
know.
told.
Some random like publicist or lady like kind
Yeah,
of like weirdly
that
smiling
they
at him,
sort
like,
of.
it was almost like
They're
insinuating
insinuating
that,
they're together.
yeah,
That they
and almost
fucked.
just like the only reason you got this book published is because you fucked me.
It's
of
'cause
like,
you-
you know.
It's because
But hey, we might have that in the next. movie.
She wanted to get fingered by the king. And hey, he's got the tattoos, not me. And
Thank God.
Tessa, he's not even reading from the book at this point. He's just harping on about.
Oh,
you
then
know,
and then he does that stupid thing where like, oh, I should probably read the
should
book,
probably
shouldn't
read
I?
from
And
the
it-
bloody
Whole
book.
personality and fashion changes to be just like that stereotypical
Yeah.
author
Yeah.
in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
It's
And
just bizarre.
that
Tessa's-
everybody's like, you're kind of a wanker. I don't like you.
Tessa's had enough, and she walks outside, and Harden hears the ring of the. Didn't hear the ring of the door when she walks in, but hears it as she walks out, and there's no one there.
And all
but
I
he
mean,
knows.
yeah, and it's like
Harden knows.
he sees the back of her.
Barely.
He knows from the fashion. He's
Yeah.
like, no one else will wear
He's
that.
like, yeah, and then so
Terrible.
Only she'd wear a jacket that shit.
and she walks off, into the rain, and this is what I was gooped and gagged when literally walks into the rain and to be continued. And I was like, are you fucking
worst
kidding
ending.
me?
Imagine being in the cinema
Oh.
and
We were-
seeing that. We
Yeah.
were
we
like,
were angered.
what?
We were
Livid,
angered.
livid, I tell you,
Because
livid.
this movie's also only 96 minutes long.
Yeah.
I would have been okay with another 5. Chuck another 5 on to sort of
I
wrap
would have been
something
okay
up
with
a
another.
little.
I would have been okay with another 40. Really.
Yeah, so, hey, you know what? Make this an absolute 3-hour Martin Scorsese
Make this
epic.
like
We're there.
don't give us another film. Just make this the final and just make it longer. Because I would be happy to. I'd be happy for Tessa. Like from what this final film sounds like.
Yeah.
it sounds like Tessa's done, and
which
this
is
is very
upsetting.
much like. But this is like I'm okay if she's like I'm fucking over
You're
it.
living in a dream world, babe. They're ending up together.
I personally don't want them to.
No, me neither, but they're going
No,
to.
they're going
Yeah.
to.
Going
But
to.
this is the issue: is that we walked out of this movie thinking
That you were getting 2 more.
that we were getting 2 more because the way that
Well, 'cause
hero
he-
finds
'cause
him
he-
into the
he
video,
announced- he announced,
the
yeah.
fact that they filmed this movie called After Everything that'll kind of serve as a prequel, and that there is going to be the final installment of Tessa and Harden's relationship. But now After Everything is rumored to be the final film, and the synopsis of it from memory is after becoming a best-selling author and at the end of his most recent relationship, Harden Scott moves to Portugal to
make
pursue
amends.
to make amends with a past love or
His
some
Eat,
shit.
Pray, Love moment.
Yeah.
But we don't give a fuck.
So do we think that Tessa? It'll be a case of she'll be in flashbacks.
So
but do we
you were
think she'll
saying
be
she
in
might
like?
be in
But do you think
flashbacks?
she'll be basically in
I
none
heard
of?
she's just in flashbacks.
But do you think she'll be in
Fuck.
none of the movie and then at the very end will be with
Yeah,
him?
that's
She'll
what I
pop
think.
up.
Right.
She'll pop up for the last 10 minutes.
Or do you think
I
maybe
forgive
the
you,
whole? Or maybe
'cause
do
I
you,
have no friends.
or do we think maybe that they're together and the whole movie of him in Portugal is actually like the flashback as well?
Oh.
And then he's
No.
and he's with her at the very
The
end of
movies
everything.
aren't that intelligent.
Because I think the synopsis says he goes to Portugal
To,
to
like,
try to
find
make up.
himself
I think,
again.
and I
Something,
think
yeah.
pre-Tessa he wouldn't have given a fuck
Because-
about what he'd done.
Yeah, because that synopsis also says after his recent relationship's broken up or something.
You know what'd be
So-
kind of great is like the film has him in Portugal. It shows flashbacks to him and Tessa all throughout it, and we sort of think he's single.
Yeah.
And then he comes home and like opens the door and like Tessa's there and she's got a fucking baby with her.
Oh.
Oh, that would be
that's
nice.
I mean,
And
he doesn't deserve that
and then
happy ending. But
she's
that would be
holding-
kind of a
That'd be
nice
nice for her
to be
too.
like, I'm a mother now. This is what I've wanted. And apparently, it's what he wants too.
But what if that happens and then we see the baby and it goes to be continued?
no. Or the baby's black and Landon.
It's Landon.
I'd be quite happy.
I'd be happy with that too.
I feel a bit bad for Nora though. She's
Nora
Yeah,
seems
no,
like
we're-
Nora seems really nice.
Not Cole, sorry. Just
Sprousey.
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 The
He's
good
the best
Sprouse.
option.
Oh yeah,
Trevor.
but
he's way too good for her.
Yeah.
Because
Trevor.
I mean, like, obviously, I'm team her in a lot of situations because
Right.
Harden is so bad.
Yeah.
Do I think Tessa's an amazing
No.
person?
Yeah.
No.
No.
like
No.
Tessa would be
She's
frustrated.
young though.
And
She's young.
But Tessa would be frustrating
She's a bit dumb.
to be friends with because you'd see her with Harden all the time and you just want to go,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you'd
why
wanna
she's got no
shake
friends.
her.
Yeah.
You'd want to shake
yeah,
her.
be
Why
like,
she's
what
got
the
no
fuck?
friends?
Like, you had
She
those
was
two.
kinda lost. She had some friends in the first one.
Tristan, the lesbian.
That's
right.
right.
They
They-
were
I think they
friends by
weren't-
the loosest terms.
Yeah, they weren't
And then
great.
she moved anyway to be at Vance Publishing.
Vance Publishing, yeah.
Now she got into NYU.
And her only friend is Kimberly, who you're like, that's weird.
She's
Yeah.
like 15 years older than her.
Yeah.
I like her mother-in-law. No.
No.
Well,
Well, no, it's
Now-
Harden's mother-in-law.
It's Harden's mother-in-law, so you're like being friends with her is weird. And then she
Yeah.
goes to NYU and apparently has made 0 friends at NYU.
Oh, God.
You're like, this shouldn't be this hard. Like,
There's-
after a while,
yeah.
you just go, you're the problem.
This is the most toxic couple relationship movie possibly ever.
yeah,
And
like,
I'm
do
here
you
for
think-
And we
every
watched
step of it.
365.
I was
and
about to say, out of like Whose relationship is the worst?
This is the worst.
Right.
Because he's
Wow.
emotionally
And I think
manipulative
she
as
doesn't
well.
have the backbone a lot. Like in Beautiful Disaster, Travis has some toxic qualities, but
Yeah.
the thing is that Pigeon can stand up for herself. Another
Her
movie
name
on
Pigeon.
No, that's her
No,
nickname.
That's the
fuck.
nickname.
Abby,
Even
sorry.
I'm like, that's the nickname, Nick.
Abby,
haven't
so
watched
if
it
you
yet.
haven't,
Sorry,
if
guys.
you do
I'm
Life
busy.
After and you're looking for another juicy little watch,
But also, Beautiful Disaster has a sense of humor about it and knows it. So
Yeah,
Beautiful
okay.
Disaster is an easier watch because it's funny.
but yeah, I'm just saying, like she stands
Yeah.
up for herself. 50 Shades.
Like,
Anna
Anastasia stands up for herself.
Whereas I don't think that she does as good of a job at standing up for herself. Or when she does, Harden doesn't give in like the other guys do.
Yeah.
Like the other guys are more like receiving,
Yeah.
whereas
Right.
he's just like, oh, well, if that's what you think, you can fuck off then. And then he's like back a day later, he's
Okay.
like, we're back together, Tessa. You
Yeah.
know? So he's so immature and
Yeah,
emotionally
because it's almost
fucked.
like the other, like in 50 Shades, like it's like Christian's so used to getting his way, but when she's like fights back, he's kind of like, actually, that's kind of sexy. I
kinda
like
sexy.
it. Whereas Harden's just like, no one's ever said no to me before, and you're not going to be the first, sort of thing. Yeah,
That was kind of the same with 365. I mean, that's essentially a glorified porno, but he does love her fiery. A lot of these characters of these men appreciate a strong woman.
Yeah.
As much as sometimes they don't, like their actions aren't always like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think they like to sometimes be in control.
Yeah.
They do appreciate strength in a woman, whereas I feel like
Harden doesn't like it when
Harden's
she
No,
Can you shut
Harden,
up?
Harden,
He's like,
yeah,
"Shut
Harden,
up."
like
he
Harden,
tells her to shut up on several occasions.
like Harden,
He's like, "Can
Harden
you
literally
stop?"
wants like that really.
He wants
like meek and
like mass, like
malleable,
like yeah,
just
like
like-
the sort of the way that he.
Pretty
Like the way that he's like,
much.
this is the way that men and women, their positions should be. He wants that.
if
And
you're a
it's like-
victim of emotional abuse in a relationship,
Yeah.
I think that's what it would be like.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
He just wants her to bend over backwards anytime he comes back around, and
Yeah.
when she doesn't, he is shocked to his very
Yeah.
core.
And none of it works because you just go, and he's not attractive to back that up.
No, his lips are so big they're like a fish.
Like it's weird. Like I'm not saying being attractive makes you get away with. Well, it can in a lot of situations, but I said that like as if like
I
that's
don't actually
me.
think
Like,
he's
it's
a
not
bad
me at all.
looking
I
guy.
get
I
away
think
with
his
like
so
personality.
much
But I was like, but
Yeah,
if you're
I
like,
think
if you're
he's-
like
yeah.
the way that like Christian Grey, like if a guy sort of treated you like that, the way that Harden treats her, in some ways you'd be like, oh, he's so hot though. Sometimes I just want to give in. Whereas Harding just be like, you don't have the charisma,
I think
the
he
appeal
just,
to
yeah,
back that
he's
up.
immature.
Yeah,
And he's like,
because I actually don't think he's a bad looking
No.
kid.
Yeah.
But it's just
but you're saying a bad looking kid, you know what I mean? Like you're saying that
he's a kid.
it's like
Yeah.
you feel
You're
like,
not like
you're
yeah.
not a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On speaking of 365, have you seen that it is the
Only movie trilogy.
It's the only worst rated trilogy of all time.
All three movies was 0%.
well, I thought the first one was good, and I thought the second and third one were terrible.
But yeah, they're all 0%.
They're all 0%.
first one
This one
deserved,
deserves more.
it deserved at least 2.
now that,
Us too.
yeah,
If
now,
we were-
now
if
that
we
you
were
understand
positive
now that you
critics.
understand how it
Tomato
works.
certified.
So if we gave, if 100
Do you know-
critics gave it a score and we both gave it a positive one, it would have a 2% positive score.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Now you get it.
No, but no, it would.
Now you understand.
hold
Now
on,
you
hold on,
understand
hold on.
math.
Yeah, but you're saying
Harden.
it would have a 2% positive. It would still be rotten. It would be
It
2%
would still
on
be
Rotten
rotten
Tomatoes.
though. But yeah,
But there would be 2% of that. That's not
Yeah.
positive still.
yeah,
No, but it's still
In fact,
We
it's
gave
quite
it
negative.
positive to get it to
You
that.
gave it positive reviews.
to
Now,
get it beyond 0.
Do
Yeah.
you understand that you can also give negative reviews to things you like?
No.
Okay. yeah. Weird, because that's kind of our job.
Yeah.
That's just what we got to do. We got to let the people know.
You're like, wait,
What a
what?
terrible job.
No, we love it. We love it
That's
every day
great.
because
I
we get to come on do our podcast like this and talk about
Talk about movies.
talk about
Don't you
movies.
feel like you're betraying a movie you like if you give it a bad review when you actually sat there and enjoyed it? Because then
No, but
isn't it,
I think enjoyment does play an aspect into the quality, but you can also be like, this movie is so like for me, The Room. I love watching The Room.
yeah,
But technically, that is a terrible movie.
got you.
It's
Same thing
bad.
with like Catwoman. Catwoman is a fucking terrible
Terrible
movie.
movie.
But I would happily like rewatch it just
Yeah.
because of how
Bonkers
enjoyably
it
bad
is,
it
yeah.
is. But I still know I'm not giving this movie a positive
I would not
review.
give The Room a positive
But if someone
review.
was like, I really want to watch like a bad movie, I'd be like, watch The
Catwoman.
Room, watch Catwoman, because
Yeah.
they're so bad that you're like, this is fucking entertaining.
Which
but also
I-
you just go, I'm not going to give it a positive review.
I think most of the after movies, like I would give this after movie, I would probably give it a 2.5.
out of
out of 5.
Out of 5.
I'd probably give the second one a 3 because I actually think that was the best made of all of them. First one I'd give a 1. Third one I'd give a 1. You know what I mean? But I still go back and watch them.
I still feel like the first one deserved a 2 because
First one is
too.
boring as fuck.
Yeah,
the
it was
third
boring.
one was just like boring and bad. Like I feel like the first one had a little bit more production.
But I can have
Back
more.
and forth,
I can
like
have
cat and
more
mouse.
fun with bad. Because I think the worst, something that's worse than bad. Something worse than bad is mediocre.
I love
Mediocrity
cat-
is
cat
worse
and
than
mouse.
bad. And I think the first after movie is mediocre and bland and vanilla as fuck. And that's why, arguably,
and I think that's
it's tied for the worst
what
in the
worked
franchise.
best for number 2 was they just went the complete opposite.
They went.
that's
They
why
were
we
like,
love it.
yeah, which is
That's why we love it.
Yeah, they were just like, all right, we need to make this a bit dirtier, a bit
Yeah.
sexier, just a lot more like lean into how fucking stupid these
Totally.
movies can be.
well, Rhiannon and I will give it a non-critic score, which
Yeah.
is just based on enjoying life.
so you're just an audience
And-
score.
Yes.
Audience who are sitting on this podcast right now.
What would
true,
you give
that's
this
true.
one out of 5?
We don't wanna
I'd probably
keep-
give it 4 3/4.
Wow.
No, that's too high.
That's-
4 and 1. 4 and 1. 4 and 1/4.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. What would you
Just-
give the second one?
Like,
Oh,
4 and 3/8.
Oh, you're starting at that decimal point period
Oh,
that
I
we
don't-
fucking
that-
love.
that decimal point shit.
4.69.
Right? Oh no, we'll actually pay that one. That's I'll give that one. But
Maths.
Tessa.
as you can tell, we're a bit apprehensive to after everything. We're ready to be disappointed, I think, because it's just not taking the story in a direction we believe we want it
Yeah.
to
Even
go.
Josephine, who's the lead, didn't even want to be in her own movie. So
Yeah.
that's not a
Yeah,
good
that doesn't. Yeah.
doesn't bode well.
So and if all of this movie is about him,
I'm less interested.
I'm very
Yeah,
much so less
because, like,
interested.
some random bitch, as Rhiannon put it last time,
Literally.
going
Yeah.
to see in Portugal.
yeah,
Some random
not
bitch.
as keen.
yeah,
Not as
Yeah.
keen. But
but maybe it'll end up being
A hit.
just
maybe it'll be a stunt. Maybe it'll be perfect.
like
Maybe
so bad.
it
It's
will
good.
get a 1 on
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Maybe.
Maybe it will break that 0.
Do you know what I just realized was missing mostly from this one, from the second one?
Mm.
Josephine didn't have her standout crazy moment.
No, she didn't.
At the
no.
party in the second one
Yeah.
when she was like
She gets
screaming
so
at
pretending-
Molly.
pretending to be drunk,
and she was like,
shit.
fuck you, Molly.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't get that.
She
No,
doesn't
she
have that.
didn't.
And
She
like,
was sad.
what moment in this film do you feel like she could have
When
put
she
it
finds
when
out she's infertile, she gets drunk. Could have been easily the time to do it.
I feel like that would have lost
Or
the impact. I feel like
the
we needed.
greenhouse after the death of her dad. She could have had a bit of a blow up.
Smashed it.
Break the greenhouse. Oh, that would have been very emotional.
Or this would have been the best. Are you ready? I've
Yeah.
just come up with the best
Go.
ending. She has secretly, before walking into the bookshop, put gasoline all
Oh
around
my
it.
God.
And
No,
she,
no, she's just pouring a bottle of vodka all over
and she lights it on fire when he's doing his reading.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
then,
pretty hard.
and then it cuts to, and then you see, and then she's like somehow made the door that you can't open it. Everyone's inside, and then she's just standing on the street,
Yeah,
and then it's
with
just
the
like,
hood
and
and
then
the-
you start- and then it's
you
just-
start hearing. "Du-du-du, du-du-du, du-du-du-du-du."
and she stands there. You hear sirens wailing. She's just smiling and puts her hoodie down, turns around, walks away, grabs the hand of the waiter. They walk off together.
Pretty Little Liars. Hey.
Uh,
But I think as well, I am not as interested in this next movie
No.
personally. I will watch it because I want to, and I want to be a part of this situation.
And
But
because then we'd make
and I
this
do
point
care.
podcast.
I,
This would
I've
make
come,
this
we've
podcast
come
pointless.
so far.
podcast.
pointless.
But like, how did they expect us to want to enjoy watching a whole movie about him after they've just
Do you know why?
Villainized him.
villainized
Two
him?
words. Executive producer.
Well,
I reckon
yes,
heroes all
but
over this.
I'm also like, he's going to have to do a huge turn. I can't even think right now
I
what it
don't-
would take for him
Yeah.
to be good in my eyes again, because I actually don't know what it
I
would
don't
be.
You're
think-
so smart, Ree. That's so true.
Yeah,
No,
no, I agree. Like it does.
True.
It actually doesn't matter. Well, like he could save a kid from a burning
Yeah, I'm like,
building
cool,
that he
you
would
should.
probably light
I'm
on
like,
fire
you
himself.
should.
He starts that fire
Like
9
he
times
could
out of 10.
cure all of the world's disease. Like I was like, it doesn't matter. Like I don't see
yeah.
anything making us go. You know what?
He
He's
deserves
actually
to
all
be
right.
with
Like
her.
no,
No.
Like I hope like he should go to Portugal and he should get bitten by like a bug and he should die.
Portuguese bug.
Yeah,
And die.
and die. And then we get a Marvel funeral, and Tessa's standing over it, and she then like pisses on his grave.
Yeah.
And she's like, after everything I won, walks away.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
end.
you no longer get to win, Harden. I
I
win.
won.
I won the bet, motherfucker. And then
Yeah.
she pisses.
Consensually.
Yeah.
fucking love that. Yeah.
I don't know. I am excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen just purely out of interest.
Yeah.
But
I already know they're going to end up together.
yeah, and
Are
I
we putting
believe
bets
you.
on? Bets on?
Yeah.
Or does everyone reckon they
Nah,
will?
they'll end up together.
I think you're right.
Oh,
though.
come on. You're 3-1 odds, Pete. Are you going to take it?
I think you don't believe it, Pete.
I just don't.
I think
Maybe they
they do.
won't.
No, Rhiannon, they're going to. Come.
Yeah. But maybe for Pete's sake, they won't.
I just,
All right, we'll go 2 against 2.
I don't, I don't, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't, like, I don't want them to. And I'd like the film maybe to be like, you know what? You think this is
Now-
stay away from each other.
I never thought I would say this because
And that's not that I say
Coming-
this. Pete's right.
coming into this movie franchise and the book, I guess. I've
It
only read the
seems
first.
like- yeah.
Yeah, it's like number 1 and 2. I was like, sweet. Number 3, I was like, whatever. Bad things kind of happen.
Yeah.
And then this one, even rewatching it today, I was kind of like, what?
He is the most insufferable in
He
this
is
one.
a-
I'm angry.
yeah.
I'm delayed angry.
That's a classic Rhiannon trait.
I would have
angry.
loved
I thought you were so silent through the movie. Now you're just
Yeah,
like,
no.
now I get why you guys.
Yeah,
I was
I know.
like,
Something will happen and I'll get so angry and she'll be like, oh, really? And then 4 weeks later, she's like, I can't fucking believe that.
I would have loved to. We would have loved seeing this anger 2 hours ago when we started the podcast.
fine.
You get all fired up
I am-
now.
No, I was always there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Not really grinds my gears.
I just, I'm just wanted to say that. Just
Yeah.
'cause,
Okay.
yeah.
But I'm
glad you got it off
like,
your chest.
I'm prepared to be wrong because this series might do what we
It
all
will do
think.
whatever the fuck it wants.
But I would like it to
Consensually.
be literally
Consensually.
this movie is its way of saying if the 5th film is going to be predominantly about Harden and show her in flashbacks, I would be happy if her walking away from the bookstore is her walking away.
Done forever.
Or we're getting flashbacks because she's dead.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe she gets hit by a car as she
Ooh.
walks out to the road.
I did say that. It'd be a perfect shot.
Be the, yeah,
yeah.
it'd be.
Please
But yeah,
run.
so
But-
I'm just going to say they're not going to be together. But I'm happy to be wrong.
Now, the next quick thing of business is that if this is the final after movie, it means that there may not be an opportunity to talk about how we feel about after everything if there's no other film. So we'll wait and see. We'll give it a few weeks. We'll wait and see and wait for the news. And if there's not going to be the announcement of a 6th film, we will do a special episode in which we recap the
fifth
after
film
everything,
and
the
the
fifth and final film.
I think we
The
I think
people-
we need it for closure.
The people
Yeah.
need the closure.
Yeah.
For my soul.
We
Yeah.
all need the closure. So give us a little bit. We'll wait and see. Because if there is the announcement of the 6th movie, then you get another episode next year, and you got to hold
so
your
far
loins
away.
till then.
Far away.
But mummies. And right, yeah. So we will let you know. You keep an eye out. We will let you know. But that was After Ever Happy, leading up to After Everything.
What a time.
Prime Video, October 6th. We're excited to hear what you think of the film. And
Last word of the night.
before we sign off, Pete, next month, November's episode of the monthly movie marathon, we're going to a little world called Pandora. No, wait, it's not Pandora. What's it called? Panem. Pandora. Sorry, I was thinking about aliens. It's called Panem.
You just ruined that.
Oh, sorry, Pete. Do you want to take over?
Oh, all I was doing. Well, I was gonna make the pun of us being we're a little bit hungry
We're
for
a little-
a franchise.
We're a little hungry for a franchise.
Hunger Games.
Is it Three Fingers?
Yeah.
It's like you're doing Avatar?
No, that's why I said Pandora, and then I was like, wait, no, that's Avatar. It's Panem.
Panem,
So
isn't it?
yeah.
Panem.
Panem.
But yes, with
yes,
the
with
Hunger Games, what's it called? The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes.
is coming
You're the
out.
book expert. Is that?
Yeah, the
Is that what it is?
Not
Yeah,
on that book.
yeah.
Okay,
the Ballad of
the
Songbirds
Ballad
and
of
Snakes.
Songbird Snakes, starring Rachel Zegler, starring
Peter Dinklage,
Peter Dinklage,
Viola
starring
Davis.
Viola Davis,
It is the prequel to the Hunger Games.
about President Snow, I believe. I don't know
when
much
he's
about
young.
it.
One of the earliest games.
When
Yeah.
he's young.
So we will be watching the 4 Hunger Games movies. The
In the
Hunger
lead up.
Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 1, and Mockingjay Part
2.
2.
So be on the lookout for that in November.
November.
Also, a quick plug that on the next episode, the November episode of The Book Was Better, featuring myself and Georgia Malt, we will be doing the first Hunger Games book on there as well for the November
podcast.
We will.
episode.
What would yours be about?
Yeah, pitch your podcast. Go.
Might be room on Nick's roster for it.
I have time.
I actually
Great
don't know.
concept.
Pete, what could we do?
What could we do?
We could do a pop culture one, I'm sure.
I reckon we could. I reckon we're up to date on stuff.
Like some reality.
I reckon we just
talk
talk
shit.
Just talk shit. Yeah.
You know what?
Shit, get hit.
That's
talk
the name
shit,
of the
get lit. Aye.
That's the name of the podcast, and it would just be Rhiannon berate interviewing people to get fucking shit out. Rhiannon's very good at getting information out of people in the most not intimidating way possible. Like, you catch people off guard, and then you get them to like you, and then you're like, bam, what's your childhood trauma?
You know what?
It's
And then
true.
they tell you.
It's actually very true.
Or what else? Or we I reckon we would review like products and shit. I reckon that would be good.
I'd love that, actually.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Like ordering like slime off TikTok and doing that sort of shit.
Look, we'll see if we get any funding.
yeah. Yeah, the budget's spread thin
But
already.
I might be able to bring some interesting things from work.
The budget's spread real thin for these Hunger Game episodes at the moment.
Yeah.
So a lot of makeup. Let's just say that. But that's on the November episode of Monthly Movie Marathon. So be sure to watch your Hunger Games films in the lead up to that. Thank you, Rhiannon.
And read the book.
And read the book. But we'll remind you to do that. The
you
book
read
was
the book
better.
before?
We'll remind you that.
Yeah.
Rhiannon and Georgia, thank you for coming on for the third time.
Thanks, guys.
We
You're so
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Welcome.
We appreciate that. We cannot deny that you are a part of the success of those two episodes. So we appreciate it. So if you would like people to find out where you are on the internet, if you want them to follow you anywhere, where should they follow you? If you want that, if you can answer now.
I would like that, actually.
Okay, where are you at?
Instagram, please.
Where are you at on Instagram?
Renoob.
RHINEWB, Renewb for Rhiannon Newberry. George Malt,
You can find me on Instagram at withg.co.
Pete, give him the spiel.
You can find me on Instagram at ratedpdg. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I still don't like that.
Yeah. I'd still call it.
It's
Sounds
X
like
now.
a porn
Elon
site.
changed it to X. Yeah.
It's
like
I know,
OnlyFans.
right? Yeah.
No, just Twitter.
Twitter, rated PDG, the AU review predominantly for my interviews and movie reviews, and there's some great interviews coming up. One that's quite eye gouging.
We could say one. There's an interview coming up that'll just make your.
By the time this drops, can we say that we've interviewed them?
Yes. Ooh. Let me check the calendar.
We're not allowed to talk. We can't say anything about the movie. But if we can't talk about the movie, then we
no,
can.
yes, we can.
We can?
By the time this drops, Pete and I interviewed the director and production designer
Of
Saw X, which was a great fun chat.
Not related to Twitter.
Not related to Twitter. No,
Yeah, it's not Saw Twitter.
Not Saw Twitter. But that was fantastic. Kevin Grutert and Anthony Stanley, they were fantastic.
Good times.
Really great interview.
Really great guys.
It's not every day you get an interview where you get to literally just talk about intestines getting ripped out and eyeballs getting sucked out and fingers getting broken and copious amounts of blood on the floor of a what do you call it? A barn of some sort.
I won't be watching.
Nah.
But it's it's just a nice change of pace from what we normally get to talk about.
Very true.
Those
Yeah.
interviews plus our reviews will be out by then for Saw X.
Yes.
Couple of things in the pipeline, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
A few things, yeah.
Few things that are still sticking around even with the strikes, which is a reminder, pay your actors, pay your writers.
actors, pay your writers.
I'm at nicksflicksfix on Instagram and X. You can find me at NovaStream Network, which is now novastream.com.au. You can head to our new website there, read all our interviews, read all of the reviews there. Please make sure that if you enjoy the episode, like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.
We'd appreciate it very much.
We appreciate your time and your patience. Thank
Now-
you very much.
Do Rhiannon and Georgia know how we sign off every episode? We do. So
There you
we'll
go.
see
So
you
all-
on the next
next one.
episode.
Do a scream.
You know what? We'll do a special. Everyone, just put your mic.
But you know what?
put your mic-
Everybody's got to do it though. That's
Everyone, put your microphones away a little bit because we'll see you on the next episode.
What are we doing? Buy or scream?
No, we're screaming. And the next episode of Monthly Movie Round, we'll see you soon. Oh, rest in peace, the earphones.